shuffle, walking back. A little shuffle, walking back.
Hold, turn, let the rest of your job break.
All of that doesn't matter. What matters is what you do inside the ring.
Two times. And
This is in round 1. This is round number 8.
Breaking down.
I think he's gonna want to box me around, try to move around, trying to get me in from the distance, but I don't think he's really good at backing up, you know, with a lot of pressure, especially me being low and staying low and throwing my combinations. That's what makes it effective.
Focus on winning, not about losing, focus on winning. Mine's the biggest muscle in the body, so I just use it to my advantage.
Mentally, after, getting stopped the way he did, getting blocked 4 times and then, getting the stoppage at the end, it can definitely play a toll on a person. So I can't wait to see how he's going to react to that.
When you're on top, it's very easy to place and everyone's patting you on the back saying you're the greatest. But now, he's back to the AJ maybe that when I first met, that edgy guy, maybe a guy with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder who wants to prove people wrong. But I'm more nervous because of the pressure he's put on himself to perform and to win, and how much he wants to win.
I think if he tries to knock Andy out, he gets knocked out.
I think the longer the fight goes on, it will be better in favour of Joshua. You know what I mean?
AJ's hasn't taken Reese's best shot, and Reese has taken his best shot. So coming into a big fight like that, you got to put that on the table.
Andy's gonna come in and give it 100%. He's gonna give it all he's got, and so is Joshua. So it's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be fireworks.
This is a major moment in heavyweight boxing, and I believe that people remember this for a long time. And I believe that people remember this for a long time. And I believe that people remember this for a long time.
there we go. Right, guys, I've sorted that out. So let's do that again. I hope you guys enjoyed that montage because you've probably seen that a couple of times. I want to show that to guys. If people end up coming in, I'll probably use that as well for a little break to go to the toilet. But I hope you enjoyed that montage. A couple of clips will be put in interspersed within this. Within this live stream, just to try out some different things. Obviously we've got a big fight, so I thought I'd try a few different things out. So hopefully this sound should be coming through now. Let's go a quick roll call with you guys. Obviously, of course, first and foremost in the building as ever, first through the doors, last king of Scotland. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. Just let me know as well. I get a little bit annoyed because when I come back and listen to my live streams to put those timestamps in, there's like some clicking noises and like tapping noises. Let me know if you hear that, because I'm trying to rectify that, because I don't want to go back and listen to my live streams and have like a clicking in my ear. So do let me know if you hear a clicking. I think it's to do with sound, and I can lower my sound down to make sure that clicking doesn't come through, because if it comes through from me, you have to hear that, and I don't want you guys to hear that clicking noise. So do let me know if you do hear any clicking noises, and I'll sort that out. But hopefully you enjoyed that montage, and that montage didn't come through any like laggy or delay. If it did a bit, that's not too bad, but we'll be seeing quite a few clips interspersed throughout this stream, hopefully to get you guys all hyped up for the fight. Toby's third attempt is in. Your boy is in as always as well. Toby's third attempt. Toby obviously being a Crystal Palace fan, myself being a Watford fan, so 0-0 draw, which he predicted before the match, and it came to fruition. Unfortunately, I think we needed to win that one, but hey ho, Nigel Pearson will come in, and hopefully we'll get something else in the coming games. Dylan York, what time aims, bro? Well, I'm going live now, Dylan. Great to have you here, by the way, and the fight starts at 8:45. I'd probably say get here for 8:30 in case something happens. But get here 8:30, get here nice and early, and then enjoy the live stream with me. Hope I'm good. I hope you're good too. Hope you guys are all good here. How is everyone? Massive fight here tonight, innit? Massive fight. We've got Dylan White versus Marius Wack right now. We'll keep an eye on this. We won't talk about it too much, but we'll keep an eye on this one, and we can obviously hype everything up about the fight as well tonight. How are you guys predicting this one? Last King of Scotland. In short, I'm going with... I have flip-flopped all week. I have flip-flopped all week from AJ to Ruiz, and This is how I see it, plain and simple. I can't really say it any simpler than this. All things being equal, I think Ruiz comes through and wins again. However, you could get an early referee stoppage. The contentious ones, the controversial ones. You could get, like we've seen with the scorecards on the first one, with the one scorecard being like mathematically impossible because of however many knockdowns there were. Ruiz losing on the scorecards, even though if he didn't win, AJ getting the results. So I think all things equal Ruiz, but I think AJ wins. And to be honest with you, I kind of want AJ to win. We'll get into whether British boxing needs AJ to win. We'll get into that. But maybe right now I might think that's the case. What do you guys think on that? Does British boxing need AJ to win? It's an interesting question. Obviously, that's been the rhetoric coming into this. And it might stand to be a true statement in that sense, because if AJ's doing well, then we're all doing well. We've got boxers doing well here. Sky Sports do well. They get people coming in and they can put on more fights and stuff. If Matchroom does well, they're putting on more cards, aren't they? So, it might be one of those things where you might not like AJ, you might not want AJ to win, but you might have to win for like our sakes. I think British boxing will be fine in general with that. Like, if he does lose, AJ's going to rebuild, of course. If he wants to continue, he'll rebuild, but it's obviously a lot better if he wins than he does lose. So, anyway, we've got White versus Wack here. Dylan White with an overhand right and then steps off with his jab. He's going to pump that jab out. Wack is colossal compared to Dylan, but he's fighting a little bit. He's not fighting tall, giving Wack a little bit of trouble here. I've not been watching this. I don't know if you guys are watching this. A couple of jabs here. They're trading this. He looks massive. He looks absolutely massive. Does this Wack? Does proper broad shoulders, an absolute like a Viking beast. He looks like a hunked up version of those. There's Blue Warriors from God of War. I can't remember what they're called. They're like those Norse fighters. They turn to ice and that. I don't know if it's just that those frosty tips at the end of his hair. Good body shot there from Dylan. Head says Andy, heart says AJ. So yeah, this is the thing, Last King, because we're, and others are probably here as well, but we're from the boxing asylum lot. That the ones where the hardcores are at. I'm not calling myself a hardcore in a sense, but a lot of hardcores are over the boxing asylum, and a lot gets said. But it's interesting because when it came to the fight the first time round, I was kind of like laissez about it, you know what I mean? And I was just like, yeah, AJ's going to win this one. Yeah, he's going to get through it. A little bit like, oh, come on, AJ, give us a big fight. We want that big fight. But when Andy Ruiz knocked down AJ, that made me realise how much of a fan of AJ I was, because I was actually wanting him to get up and win. You know what I mean? When I saw that. And heart as well comes into it, because, you know what? I want those fights. I want that AJ Wilder fight. I want that AJ Fury fight. A Ruiz Fury, a Ruiz Wilder fight is a big fight nonetheless, but instead of an AJ in that place, I want AJ in that place. It's just a much more interesting fight for me. So I think that part plays into it as well. But okay, so whilst White is looking like he's going to trudge to the whole 10-round distance here, unless Wack gets knocked out. Good 1-2 there, though, down the pipe from Dylan White. He's having to contend with a lot of jabs here, though. I don't know if this is one of the things where he's just going to have to break him down slowly. Let's get into the first of my promos for you guys. Let's get into this one. Let's go.
I don't think he's really good at backing up, with a lot of pressure, especially me being low and staying low and throwing my combinations. I think that's what makes me really effective.
So as you can see there, hopefully that came through really, really well. Andy Ruiz saying that he doesn't think that Anthony Joshua is really good at backing up, him being low, throwing combinations. That's what makes Andy Ruiz effective. Now I want to ask you guys about the weaknesses that you see in Anthony Joshua's game and the ones that Andy Ruiz is speaking out about specifically there in that clip. Like, tell me what weaknesses do you see in his game and where he needs to improve, because it seems to be like after the first fight, and to be fair, coming up into all the fights recently, let's say, since the White fight, maybe the White fight, the Povetkin fight, Takam as well, I think is there. Parker's in there as well, in terms of us kind of being experts in where AJ has his weaknesses. AJ seems to, for me, AJ seems to he tends to kind of fight with about 3, 4, maybe 5 hard rounds in him. Otherwise, throughout a 12-round fight, he only really tends to fight in spurts. Doesn't really go. He goes at a kind of medium pace. He only really has 5 tops rounds in him. We'll see how much the 10-pound differential of weight loss that he's had in advance of this fight plays into the factor of him being able to output more against Andy Ruiz in Saudi Arabia. However, the big one. Let's start with the things that Andy Ruiz is saying. So, actually, no, let's start first with the left hooks. Now, the left hook is something that Joshua has been susceptible. I think ever since the Dillian White fight, everyone's kind of highlighted that that's the punch that AJ seems to always fall foul to. His right hand just falls a little bit low, or it's not even anywhere near his chin, and he'll get clocked by a left hand when he's either punching. I mean, it's open any time, but it's been when he's been engaging. A Povetkin will leap in with a left hook. A Dillian White will punch with him and smash through a left hook. And Andy Ruiz, I can't remember what punch it was. It might have been a left hook, but it was a hook nonetheless. Caught AJ in the temple, and AJ just doesn't defend that punch. And that's a glaring problem in this game, especially for someone who says that they've gone back to their fundamentals in advance of fighting Andy Ruiz. If they haven't rectified that problem of being susceptible to the left hook, then you're letting yourself in for the exact same occurrence to happen again, the exact same circumstance to happen again. Andy Ruiz beating Anthony Joshua once more, this time in Saudi Arabia. They have to rectify, have to ensure that that guard is firm, proper, and up pretty much at all times, unless he's out of range where he can kind of take a break. If he's not up, if that guard isn't up at all times and protecting himself from those hooks, then that punch is going to be there all night for Andy Ruiz. Like I said, but this is the thing, even with Povetkin, an aging, slow down fighter who is past his best, still good, still an effective fighter, but past his best fighter, Povetkin was able to counter with a left hook. He was able to leap in sometimes with left hooks as well and catch AJ with that punch. So that has to have been sorted out. It has to have been sorted out. If they can have done that in however many months past, I think it's 6, whatever it is, however long it's been. Oh, great overhand right there from Marius Whack on Dillian White there. Dillian was just open for it. Dillian in a bit of trouble here. Double jab right hand. Dillian counters with his own right. He looks okay, but he's just shipping a couple of shots. Dillian very, very ordinary at the moment. Very workmanlike, but ordinary. Marius Whack looks very good left hook, and then a right. Was it a counter left there from Dillian on Marius? Good little exchange here. I'll just keep with this, and the bell for that round rings now. Good little exchange there. So, yeah, a slow-aged Povetkin caused him problems coming forward and leaping in with that punch. And AJ was shipping those shots freely at times to that suspect and predictable opponent. Dillian, as I've mentioned, obviously there's a bit of spite there, and I think AJ wanted to exchange and wanted to kind of match her out, but he got stunned. He got absolutely stunned by that left hook, which left him. You could see it. It jolted him, didn't it? It proper jolted him. And Dillian obviously had his injuries come into that fight. He said he wasn't 100% fit, but he took that fight because obviously the rivalry and what was at stake for him at British level, and then off in the future. And obviously both of those fighters have gone on, even though one has lost and one has won. They're near the top of the game. And obviously Joshua is. Dylan's getting there. Hope he gets his title fight in the future, cleared by UCAD. We'll get into that hopefully later on. But Dillian cracked in with that left. And let's move on to Parker. Joseph Parker, inside game. Anthony Joshua, we either haven't seen an inside game. It's two things. We either haven't seen an inside game or he has no inside game. And that's not because of Anthony Joshua having a lack of ability. It's just kind of the heavyweight archetype is essentially built up upon because they're tall, they're rangy, they're big. It's not built up upon inside work. That's there for the smaller ones, you know, your Parkers, your Chizoras, your Whites. They can have that inside game where, especially when it comes to a bigger heavyweight, they can then utilize that against them. But he won't have that inside game. And against Parker, instead of trying to look to trade, he obviously tied him up, didn't he? And waited for the referee to come in. Now, has Joshua developed an inside game all of a sudden to try and combat with Andy Ruiz? Don't think so. I think what they will do to kind of negate that point, and from when Ruiz does get inside, because he will, because Joshua, I doubt can be, if he can be punch perfect, that's incredible, but I don't think he will. And if he does get inside Andy Ruiz, he is going to have to utilize the ability to tie up his opponent. Otherwise, he's going to get caught again. But this is one of those things. I think, I'm not confident in this just yet, but I think that these smaller fighters could end up being the reckoning for these taller fighters, because the majority of them, well, maybe Tyson Fury is adept, but I wouldn't call him, you know, a master at these sort of things, but they don't have that inside game. And Andy Ruiz is incredible at being able to step forward, put that pressure on, pressure you back into a corner, and then put combinations in on you, and get in on the inside, and then have his way with you. Whereas a Wilder wouldn't be able to come back with that. AJ showed that he wasn't able to. Well, he got caught, but you know he didn't show it. He hasn't shown yet that he's able to deal with that. So we'll have to negate that by tying him up. What I want to say about this is simple. These weaknesses that Andy Ruiz Jr. talks about are kind of AJ weaknesses, but they are the Andy Ruiz advantages. Like I said to you, these smaller heavyweights could be the reckoning of these bigger heavyweights. We've seen the success that Chizora's been having so far. I know he's got knocked out by Dillian, but Dillian again a smaller heavyweight. If Chisora is able to put on, I think Chisora would have success against Wilder as well. I'm not saying he's winning; he would win or anything, but he would show a different, good right hand there from Marius Wack on Dillian White. I think he'd show that there were gaps in Wilder's game, because Wilder doesn't show that inside game at all. When Wilder was getting pressure from Ortiz in the first fight, he chose to cover up and not trade. When he got buzzed, there was no trade. Obviously, it was because he was buzzed and things like that. But again, he could have elected to punch. He chose instead to block. Obviously, the right choice. But again, I don't think he would have the inside game to be able to compete with someone like an Ortiz or a Chisora or a White. Maybe that's maybe why they're not taking that fight. But Andy Ruiz is short. He's a short fighter. He's a short fighter who also fights low. So it gives even more of a size differential between the fighter and the fighter that you're against, AJ and Ruiz. Usher's in the building. Usher's just walking in. They're giving him the red carpet treatment. I think I saw a picture of Amir Khan and Usher earlier. I think they were in Dubai. So I imagine Amir Khan would have made the short trip over, I suppose. Let's just take a quick break and see what you guys are saying. AJ's too laid back, needs a mean streak for a start. Yeah, I mean, with AJ being too laid back, he definitely he said in this build-up, you know, he hasn't had that buzz. The buzz that was with him it was last with him for the Charles Martin fight, which is when obviously he won the title. Say what you want about the fight, but it was a title fight for him nonetheless. He had that buzz then and hasn't had that buzz since. So maybe he needs that buzz to put him on that edge, to give him that mean streak. But I completely agree with you. The way he handled Andy Ruiz in the first fight, well, we'll get into that. But obviously the handing of the belts over was a big Shakespearean, almost foreshadowing mistake that he made. Let's just stick with Dillian White here, round 7 of 10, as Last King of Scotland is saying. Them, well, lazy jabs. Those lazy jabs can adhere to both. Apply to both. Dillian at times in this fight he's been a bit lazy, even though he is very good with his jab, and to Joshua as well, pours out his jab at times, not looking really to connect, but to kind of find his range. However, let's just stick with Dillian here in this 7th round. Last King of Scotland saying that White is struggling here. He has at times, every time I put my eyes down just to have a little check, he's at times been languishing. I can't give you any sort of insight into my opinion of this, because I've been talking you guys' ears off on this. Let me know how you guys have been seeing this fight. But Wacker seems to be putting in a good performance. Every now and again I see him catching Dillian Whyte with punches. And he does get his head rocked back as well, does Whyte. It's been good exchanges here. Good 4-punch combination there, ending with a left hook to the body from Dillian. Then an overhand right he attempts, but he smothers his work there. Doesn't quite connect on Whack's head. Back to the center of the ring. Triple jab out by Marius Whack. Then a double jab and an overhand right, ending with a left hook to the body from Whack. Good little uppercut on the inside. Left uppercut it was on the inside from Marius. And then he steps out of range, but he's about to eat a jab. Whilst waiting for that. Let's go back to this. So, I can't remember where I was. Anyway. Yeah, there's that size differential between the two. And then as well, Andy Ruiz just closes down the distance so well. Like, I haven't looked into it enough, and I probably need to do this, but the way Andy Ruiz closes the distance, it's almost... You almost think it's elementary, but it's actually... It's not so much about what he does with his feet. It's just very educated with what he does with his feet. It's the pressure that he puts on to close down his opponents and then get those combos off. He's able to slip past a jab, get in within wrist range. Once he's in wrist range with a fighter, he can then exchange, and that's when Andy Ruiz is lethal, as he showed in that first fight. Let's have a quick look over everything on my end as we're waiting for this. Here we go, we're back. I don't want that. Come on. I am going to quickly BRB, if you just give me a moment. Right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just had a little thing on my end. So, as I was saying, we'll just stick with this in round 8. Jab and an overhand right from Dillian. The body snatcher, just getting a couple of shots off to the body now. Right hook, then a left hook, and then double jab to the head on high on the Marius Whack's guard. Marius Whack steps forward, backing Dillian up. No pressure, no real pressure in terms of punches here from Marius on Dillian. Good right hand there though, gets through the guard of Dillian. Then just selects not to engage and steps back again. Just taking a look here at Marius Whack, who's stepping forward a little bit clumsily, not throwing back and open to taking shots. Dillian's not taking advantage of that at the moment. Pours out a triple jab. A lot of, I think it's Vaseline, whatever it is to use in the corner on Dillian Whyte's face, you can see it. He's got away with it a little bit. I mean, it's not clumps, but you can see it over his face. Good short right hand there on the inside from Dillian though, as Whack comes forward. Whack might be tiring a little bit here as he eats a single jab to the body. Dillian just relaxed on the ropes, picking his man off. There's not a lot coming back from Marius, who eats a stiff right hand to the body, then a hard right up the top as well. Marius pours out a double jab, a little bit lazy, then eats a 4-punch, 5-punch, 6-punch combination. Dillian keeps going. A couple of those shots got through up top. The combination started off low, then ended up top and finished top as well. Marius just shaking out his right hand. If is there a problem there? He's not punching at all. The output here from Marius is low here. I don't know if he's just taking a little bit of a breather off, a round off, sorry, as they clinch. And they're not separated by the referee, they separate themselves. White's taking the step back. Again, Marius putting the pressure, triple jab, pouring out there, nothing on the end of those jabs. Leads him with an elbow, but doesn't get anything off because Dillian pushes him off with the jab. Last 45 seconds here in this 8th round. Dillian just able to take a look at his opponent. He's very comfortable just eats a right hand there. A little bit lazy from Dillian, but he's very comfortable. In essence, in this round, it's been all him. 1-2 there. The 2 gets through, but then eats a double left hook to the body from Dillian. And then another one, a little bit low. I think it was just on the belt line from Dill. 1-2. The 1 was caught on the guard. The 2 got through, though, from Marius Vac. Just dipping a little bit of head move from Marius. Just another little look there. Cracking left hook, though, from Marius Vac just to punctuate the end of that round. Dillian was caught there on his heels. And he eats a right hand as well. Dillian in trouble here, now looking to trade. But Dillian with a really good round, but then let himself down there, taking a left hook and a right hand. The left hook wobbled him. I don't think it was an off-balance sort of wobble as opposed to, you know, getting cracked, if you get what I mean. I think he has wits about him. Definitely has his wits about him. Tibbs is just giving him some talking. Here we're getting a replay of this. Uppercut, then the left hook, yeah. And it cracked him, no word of a doubt, but the wobble... Yeah, it's crack on the chin. I've got to give Marius Vac that credit there because that's more than what I thought it was. Because that landed right on the chin there. An absolute smasher, a sandstorm on the fucking dunes from Marius Vac there. Which Dillian took well. But he's in a round where he was controlling it. Just let a few slip. Need White to stop this guy from Mayaka. I don't know if you'll get the stoppage, you know. Yeah, I don't think you'll get it. 2 rounds to go. Dillian doesn't look like he's about to stop his opponent. Good left hook from Dillian on the belt line. Dillian now a bit more got about him. That looked low. That was low. That was very low from Dillian there. Marius Vac hanging around here, showing he's durable. He's always shown he's durable, hasn't he? Good left hook there. Then it returns a right hand low. Does Marius just giving one back to Dillian, who doesn't complain. Looking to trade both of them here. Now Marius Vac is actually putting a lot more up. It must have been just a round off for Marius. Tactical, I suppose. Maybe they thought they could take that off, but... Good right hand there at the top from Dillian. And then a single stiff jab landing on the jaw of Marius Vac. Left hook to the body on the inside. Blocks a left hook of his own from Marius. Then Marius didn't complain of a shot behind the head there. Right hand from Marius as well. Marius getting on some offense here. Dillian willing to trade here. Cracking shots to the body in return though. When he eats these shots, Dillian elects to shoot to the body, then occasionally hit back up to the top to the head. But it's good overhand right there. Then stiffs out that jab again. Cracking jab from Dillian there. They're shoulder to shoulder now. Just Dillian takes a single step back in range from Marius Vac to hit a 1-2. Then a right hand afterwards. Good left hook from Dill. Again, cracking those left hook, right hook to the body. Then a left hook, right hook up to the head. Dillian just pouring there with a jab, leaving his head there for the rangefinder. Then coming up with the right hand, which he can't do, of course. Good action here in this 9th round. Last 50 seconds of this 9th round. Dillian eating a stiff left jab. Marius Vac getting off this work. Dillian's just trying to get that guard up and roll out the way of it. Just taking a few here. Tired, I think, is Dillian. But very comfortable as well in that pocket. Just getting his... Taking a few shots. Taking them not clean, though, but comfortable to sitting there. I think he wants to catch Marius with something. I'm not sure what... I think it's the a left hook or a uppercut he wants to catch Marius with, but he's just not able to have caught it just yet. Doing well to try and catch and counter though with his right hand catching and trying to counter with something. Good. There's that left hook and then a right hand then follows up then with a stiff jab. 1-2 then comes through as well. Tries an overhand right clumsily. Dillian nods his head because he knew he took a jab then after being clumsy with that. Marius puts on the pressure then just spins out away as the round ends. Good fight this has turned out to be. I don't know about the other rounds because I've been Canelo is in the building. We have Canelo Alvarez all the way from, I suppose, Mexico, America, wherever he's been. I think he's been in the Philippines. Canelo Alvarez is arriving into the building. Obviously, really wants to see that Povetkin Hunter fight, and Canelo is now in the must have teleported right into the dressing room of Andy Ruiz, who's getting some words now from, and is that Oscar in the background as well? Can't see Ruiz is in the way. Yeah, that's Oscar. Oscar's there as well, of course. Is it Oscar? No, it's not Oscar. It's just some security. It looked like Oscar. My bad. My bad. Well, round 10 here. Single jab from Dillian on the back foot here. Mariswak putting on the pressure. He's got to put on the pressure here now. Good left hook on the exchange, on the end of the exchange from Dillian. Stepping forward, pouring with a jab, Mariswak trying to back Dillian up onto the ropes. Dillian pivots over to the right though. Intelligent work there from Dillian, controlling the real estate, making sure he isn't backed up. Now getting off some exchanges as well, leading with a left hook, which is clumsy, doesn't get through. Eats a right hand, returns back with a double jab, rocking back the head of Mariswak, and then a right hand as well to add to that exchange. And a right hand again. The right hand is just catching now a little bit too often from Dillian and Wack. I mean, Wack's not really showing any real head movement. It's very easy to tag. I've only really been catching this fight the last 3 rounds. I can't really say too much about the others, but especially in these last 3 rounds, very easy to tag Maris. And Dillian, to be fair, hasn't been has a great right hand there from Maris Wack. Dillian's not been all that defensive either. At times he's been tagged with a lot of shots. He's just been rolling a bit more. Not really the head movement, but the roll has been the difference, I suppose, in taking more cleaner shots than he has already to this point. But he's eaten a few points in, has eaten a few punches in, has so far up to this point as well. Tries to shoot a right hand as Dillian lowers the guard, but Dillian saw it coming and then counters with a 3-punch combination as well. Single jab. Dillian stuck on the ropes here. Well, I don't think he's stuck on the ropes actually. He's electing to stay in the ropes. Shoots an uppercut on the inside. Just smothered his work a little bit. Good counter left there though from Dillian. Left hook though from Marius. Marius now leaning on Dillian White. Tough fight this is. Tough fight for both of them. Both of them putting a lot. But it's been a good one actually. Last 3 rounds. Stiff jab from Dillian. That trademark jab in the face of his opponent. 1, 2, then an uppercut, then a jab to end it, and then another jab rocking the head back of Marius. Wack is getting whacked here. Left hook, right hook, then a left hook. Is Dillian trying to look for the stoppage? The ref don't think it's going to step in. Marius just clinches there just to ensure that no more punishment is taken from him because he looked in a little bit of trouble there. 20 seconds here while Dillian tries to shoot for the knockout. Left hook to the body. Overhand right was a bit too obvious. Just throwing those lefts and those hooks there, Dillian at the end, just trying to chance it for an uppercut, but for a knockout. Sorry, but didn't get it. Interested to see how this is on the scorecards because I haven't seen those other rounds because I was jabbering on. So we'll see what that turns out to be. I'm gonna quickly get a refill of my drink, so I will be back in a moment. Just caught the end of one of the cards, 97-93. Dylan White gets it on the scorecards. Well, that's a 4-round by 4 rounds. They seem to be in agreement with that as well, so... Yeah, that was a Curie. I got that completely wrong, didn't I? Oh well, shit happens, doesn't it? So, whilst waiting for the next fight, Povetkin versus Hunter, which should be a good fight actually. And we're just over an hour away from the Clash on the Dunes, which is going to be something. Let's see what Dylan says here. 6 months of rust here. Just talking about the UCAD situation. Three weeks notice, stone and a half overweight. Getting a roar from the crowd here still. Has been through a lot, and good on him to get. UCAD don't come out, do they? They don't come out with statements and things like that. And UCAD did that for Dylan. Did give a read, did the glean over that UCAD statement, which you know, pretty much give Dylan the all clear. Do need to read it again and properly analyze it. Would have been a shame though, because he talks about, you know, walking away from boxing. That's the toll that these things put on these fighters, especially if they forget about the circumstances and forget about Dylan for a moment, especially if they're innocent and then they're loomed in with these sort of things. It's a shit situation to be in. David Dumanti here just raising Dylan's hand. Right then, let's go back to more hype of the main event. Of course, that's why we're all here. So, Andy Ruiz can get in on the inside and has an inside game, which a lot of these heavyweights don't really have. They tend to either box tall, box at range, or box kind of smart. Whereas Andy Ruiz is all about coming forward and taking your head off, isn't Andy? And he'll be all about coming forward and taking your head off in this fight, because rest assured, in my opinion, I don't think he's going to get the result on the scorecards. What the one scorecard had at 58-57 or whatever it was at the time to Anthony Joshua by the time of the fourth knockdown or whatever it was. It's absolutely crazy. So let's just have a quick look at what's at stake for either of these guys. So here we go.
Just saw Deontay Wilder get a win over Luis Ortiz. Obviously, he's set to fight Tyson Fury next year. You're looking to fight the winner of that fight?
Of course, you know, I'm a big fan of Deontay Wilder. He's one of my homies, and you know, I'm looking forward for that fight, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna get that victory against Tyson Fury.
And you'll look to fight Fitz, the winner, after that?
I'm sure.
Fantastic. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, Johnny. Thank you very much.
So as you saw there, Ben Faruqi, shout outs to Ben Faruqi at Boxing News TV, is over in Saudi Arabia, and he asked Andy Ruiz there if coming through this fight, obviously neither of them, especially Andy Ruiz, neither of them are overlooking their opponent. Joshua certainly as hell isn't. It's actually quite interesting if you think about it, because all the talk at that time in the first round, in the first fight, was Anthony Joshua talking about Wilder, talking about Fury, because obviously Wilder previously, 3 weeks back, or however many weeks back it was from the first fight, Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua, knocked out Ortiz, didn't he? No, knocked out Brazil, in devastating fashion. So there was talk about that, and talk about Anthony Joshua having to make a statement by knocking out Andy Ruiz quickly and early. So this time round, Anthony Joshua hasn't really been talking about Wilders or Furies. He's been talking about Andy Ruiz, but on the return, it's Andy Ruiz who's been mentioning the Wilders and the Furies, and this is what he said. He says, you know, will he fight Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury, and who wins? And he said, yeah, he'll fight them, and who wins? He thinks Tyson Fury gets beaten by Deontay Wilder. First of all, how do we think that fight would go? How do we think Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, the rematch, is going to go? Let me know your opinions on that. But first of all, I think, let's say, if that fight came about, Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz, in my opinion, I think Andy Ruiz beats Deontay Wilder. I'm not sure about beating Tyson Fury, though, because, like I said to you, I kind of had this feeling that these smaller fighters, especially Andy Ruiz, who's kind of flying that flag for the smaller heavyweights, at least smaller in the sense of size, not in the sense of weight, which he uses to his advantage, of course, is able to slip, come in on the inside, and then shoot off combinations and punch with you. How many fighters actually punch with Deontay Wilder? How many good small men has Deontay Wilder beaten? I could probably put out Brazil. Obviously, he's massive. Tyson Fury, in my opinion, obviously Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder, but he's massive, isn't he? Luis Ortiz is smaller, but he's still quite big. I think Luis Ortiz is what, 6'2", 6'4", something like that. And obviously he's like 40 years old as well. You know what I mean? So how many? Bermain Stavern, you're not going to say Bermain Stavern is a good small man at all, are you? And he's nothing like what, you know, Michael Hunter again. Sorry, not Hunter. Gerald Washington, massive fighter. How many good small men has Deontay Wilder beaten? And I can't give you that. I can't give you that unless you can tell me one. Let me know. And Andy Ruiz is the antithesis of that, and he will be able to show Deontay Wilder things that he hasn't seen and competed with before, and maybe cause an upset again. It wouldn't be an upset for me because I think he'd have the beating of Deontay, because just that inside game, and because Deontay at the best of times smothers his own work. He might be able to keep him on that range of that jab, but Andy Ruiz knows what he's doing. Of course, the power is a factor, but can he land against a short Andy Ruiz who then ducks down lower, then shooting your shots down low as well? I mean, look at it. Andy Ruiz Jr. took AJ's punch, his best punch at that time, like it was nothing. He looked up at him, he had his wits about him, he was fine. And recently as well, just look at the track record with Deontay Wilder. I know we talk about power, I know it's concussive, and I know what it does, but Fury got up. Brazil was flattened on the canvas, but got up still. Luis Ortiz in the first fight got up, and Ortiz got up in the last one as well. Yeah, he's unsteady. I'm just saying the power that we're on about with Deontay Wilder. I think I'm not going to say it's overrated. I just think it's not as destructive as maybe we give it credit for. And I think Andy Ruiz has the chin and the chin to take the punch, and then the ability to move away from the punch as well. Just getting a tailor tape for Povetkin and Hunter, 40-year-old Povetkin here. Fucking hell, man. 6'2", 6'2". 3-pound weight advantage for Povetkin. 4.5-inch reach advantage for Michael Hunter. Michael Hunter is a good fighter. I like that he's come back from his defeat to Usyk, wasn't it? His defeat to Usyk. And now he's come back, and he's trying to get... Both of them, to be fair, could be in line for... Povetkin at 40, man, it's crazy. Both of them could be in line for, you know, heavyweight title fighting. This is one of those fights that can set him up for that, can't it? We're just getting the introductions now here from David Diamante. Okay. Let's just see what you guys are saying, see what the audience is. If we picked up a little bit, no, we haven't. That's fine, no, not a problem. I'll keep jabbering on. It's cool with me. So, and they're whether they're saying that or not, whether they're there or not, there are two big observers, aren't there? If they're ringside or not, but I'm sure they're watching. Look, Deontay Wilder's going to be watching. Tyson Fury's going to be watching this fight. And either of them are going to, they're going to say what they're going to say after this fight as well. They're going to take on the winner. What the fuck is that? Predator. That is sick. That is sick. I think we need to see much more of this in boxing and much more showmanship. And I love this sort of stuff. I love this presentation here. This is Michael Hunter. That's sick. That is. Love that. Badass. That it must have been custom made. Love the Predator series, me. Look, he's got the scores as well. It's a little bit, costume shop, just a little bit, because when Deontay Wilder came out looking like that Crystal Jewel Power Ranger, this is, and obviously a lot of money was put into that. This one just looks a little bit more costume shop, but it looks good still nonetheless. I'm just gonna keep my eyes on this because that's what you need, man. You need good entrances just to grab you. I love that sort of stuff. A little bit strange to have this speech over a Predator mask and not maybe a line from the Predator. What is this entrance, man? Just crack on with whatever you're doing. Hunter just shaking his head there. He doesn't want to go until the speech is gone. It'd be good if now Povetkin came out in Arnie gear and just screamed, "Get to the chopper." Let me just type that out on Twitter 1 second. Make a quick tweet. Be right back. Right, and sorry about that. I just wanted to put a quick tweet out. Because we had, obviously, Michael Hunter coming out in a Predator mask. So I wanted to see the inverse. I want to see Povetkin dressed as Arnie in those camo shorts. It was sick. I don't know if Jack is in here, but it was sick. Just respond to Jack quickly. Povetkin obviously, I'm back. Povetkin obviously coming off of yeah, sorry, my mate's just texted me back. Imagine Povetkin coming in just caked in mud, man. Just slipping just out of the way because obviously Michael, the Predator, can't see anything that's, you know, if it's caked in mud in it because it's masked. That'd be fucking hilarious, but it hasn't. It wasn't meant to be. But yeah, Povetkin, man. Povetkin is, yes, he's aging. Yes, he's 20. Yes, 20. Sorry. Yes, he's 40. He only has those 2 losses though. Klitschko and Anthony Joshua, which is good company to keep your losses, to have your losses against. One second. Clash of the News, did I just see? Right, I'm back. Sorry about that, fellas. Yeah, Povetkin Hunter, this should be decent. Povetkin's obviously going to only do one thing and look to knock you out. This guy's come off of the two losses he's had against Klitschko and Anthony Joshua, which is great company to have your losses against because they're both former champions. Obviously, Klitschko reigning for fucking yonks, and Anthony Joshua having been at the top of the pinnacle of the sport, and he will be. You know, even if he loses this one, he'll get back there in title fights. I'm sure of that. Anyway. Alexander Povetkin has recently, obviously, he's had those 2 defeats against 2 Brits, two wins, sorry, against 2 Brits. A colossal victory over David Price, which is a great fight. And then you had, obviously, then Hughie Fury, which was a boring fight. Unfortunately. But as we're waiting for Michael Hunter against Michael Hunter versus Alexander Povetkin, let's get back into one of the next promos quickly here. So the next promo is, have a little look at this one and tell me what you guys think.
I think he feels good. I mean, I was listening to him with the round table, with the press, saying all the right things. I mean, it comes down to Saturday, doesn't it? I mean, it's a completely different space than he was in the first fight. But, you know, on the first fight, I wasn't hanging around him during the week. Oh, you know, he seems overconfident, or so it's hard to tell. But he, looking back at that first fight, he's much more focused this fight. He wants to win so bad. He wanted to win last time. I don't think he had any emotion towards Ruiz. You know, it was just like
there was a lot going on in that situation.
Yeah, you know, the 4 weeks before the fight with Miller and then Ruiz, and then everyone talked about Wilder and like I don't know. But the excuses, you know, are irrelevant because he lost the fight. He lost to the better man. So he's got to make sure that he's the better man on Saturday.
So we're back now from that promo. So I'm just going to get to that promo in a moment as I just continue whilst we're waiting for Povetkin versus Hunter. Sorry. Yeah, Wilder and Fury are going to be watching this fight. They may not be ringside, but they'll be watching. And the rematch is announced between the two. And Al Heyman, I'm sure, will want to keep that fight if Andy Ruiz does come through it in-house, a unification fight. Forget if they can, the contracts aren't signed. We don't know with this sort of stuff because it's not been announced yet, unless they're waiting for this fight to come and then announce it afterwards. It may not be February because you would think it would have happened by now. The announcement been made, but scrap that one and have a unification fight. I'm sure they'd want that. That'd be massive for them, wouldn't it? Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder. But yeah, that could be in Saudi as well. Don't think this will be the last we see of Saudi. But does that factor into who you want to win? Do you want Joshua to win because you don't want those titles to be tied up with the PBC? Because that seems the likely rhetoric, you know, that if Andy Ruiz wins, Al Heyman obviously wants that unification fight. But then again, if AJ wins, to go back to status quo and not getting those big fights, I mean, it's all crazy because, you know, what's that doing? Sorry, it's all crazy because, you know, IBF want it mandatory, WBO want it mandatory, so the belts are likely to get fragmented anyway. So once again, we could end up being a step behind afterwards anyway in terms of unification. We'll get to that Eddie Hearn clip in a moment about Anti Joshua's focus and mind state as we're just going to the first bell for Povetkin versus Hunter. And Hunter with just going for Povetkin here, just looking to take his head off, throwing Povetkin to the ground. I believe he caught him with a shot. Just trying to catch him cold here. He's open as well as Michael Hunter, just leaning in and lunging in as well. But he's catching Povetkin quite well here. He's got you can see that range that he has, that 4.5 inch height reach advantage. Sorry, you can see that quite clearly in the punches that he throws. Even though he's out of range, you can see the extension on his arms, and they are long arms. Just trying to catch one over on right there, Povetkin. I think Michael Hunter is now just elected to go out on the back foot now, not because he's seen that Povetkin's still there, still quite obviously he's a wily old vet there. But this could be this is a spicy start to Povetkin Hunter here in this first minute. Povetkin will catch you, and look, he's slipping out of the way of punches as well. So just be careful with this. If I'd just say to Michael, just be careful with this because you don't want to get caught cold yourself. But good start from Michael. Just put Povetkin on the back foot here. Good right hand there from Povetkin, from Hunter, sorry, shaking Povetkin. Povetkin electing to hold and eating 2 shots to the body there in the clinch. Good right hand from Michael Hunter. He's just out of range, so Michael Hunter's just got to be careful. He's lunging in at times. He will get caught. Povetkin has those assets and skills. If you're coming into him and you're leaving yourself in range and leaving yourself, in range for fights, when you're for a punch, when you're overextending, you'll get caught because Povetkin knows what to do in those sort of situations. So just be careful. But there we go. There, see that left hook there? They got caught on the end of at the end of that combination. Michael Hunter did. There's that little jump-in left hook. We've seen that many a time throughout Povetkin's career. So almost his signature shot, isn't it? That leaping left hook. Off balance there, Povetkin. Last 20 seconds. Single jab to the body from Michael Hunter. Slowing it down now. Overhand right is too obvious from Povetkin, who moves out. Sorry, this is a little bit hard to catch at times. But there was good slipping there from both men in that exchange there. Both out of the range for their combinations. I'm going to have to sort my speech out here. Peace, everybody. Get the smoke. Great to see you. Haven't seen you for a while. Just to let you know, if you don't already know, Get the Smoke. I've been interviewing for Boxing News TV, so I've been getting out there and doing some interviews and stuff. So do check them out if you have the time. But good to see you here. Get the Smoke. Who have you got, Andy Ruiz or Anthony Joshua? Eddie will be shaking like a shitting dog right now. He said he's been shitting here for since June. You know what I mean? But yeah, nah. This is one of those things where I know what Eddie says with things like where he's like, if we lose, it's not too bad for Matchroom, but if we win, it's astronomical. This is a big hit. This is a big hit. If Andrew Ruiz does win. Hunter's mask had a mask. It did. And Hunter's mask was sick. A little bit costume shop-ish. Not quite the expenses spent like Deontay Wilder had, but it was still good. I like crazy entrances like that. Hunter looks hungry for this. Yes, he does. He definitely did in that first round. Great outfit. Hunter making the old man work. Yes, and he's got to. Povetkin won't make it out to the end of, I think, 4 more rounds max. I don't know. Povetkin just has that experience. You can never. Povetkin will have seen all of this sort of stuff before. I rate Povetkin to. I think he'll go more than 4. We'll see. We'll have a look, won't we? Single jab. The overhand right. Povetkin tries to shoot, but just out of range with it. Michael Hunter just slipping a little bit to his left as he's dipping down to hit that left shot to the body. Stepping with a jab and a right hand, both miss from Michael Hunter as they clinch. Neither get any real telling shots off in the clinch, and they're separated by the ref. Single jab from Michael Hunter, backing off, stepping on the back foot now. Just good right hand there, just catching Povetkin off balance, not a hard shot, just not off balance shot there. Off balance was Povetkin. Good right uppercut though on the inside. He's wild here, Povetkin. He is Michael Hunter. He really wants to get his man out, doesn't he? Just got to be careful. Good right hand there, though, from Hunter. Jabs and jabs in the right hand. Povetkin on the front foot with some head movement, then shooting an overhand right. Again, all too obvious. Single jab Povetkin, and then they clinch. Just getting a little bit sloppy here. Want some more engagement like we did in that first round. This is Povetkin, though, slowing it down a little bit. Eating a shot to the body, but slowing it down. Making sure he's out of range to ensure that Michael Hunter can't get any shots off. And then when he is in range, then Michael Hunter looks to engage and explode on Povetkin. But Povetkin just being very careful here with the range that he's taken with Michael Hunter, so he doesn't get into that exchange again like he did in that first round. Dipping low, no real work for either of them, but a couple of good shots to the body from Michael Hunter. A stiff left hand jab to the body from Povetkin. Then he tries to shoot again with that overhand. But they clinch. Smothered work here. He's going to try another leaping left hook again at any point. It's his trademark punch. Single jab and a check left hook. He tries to shoot Michael Hunter. Didn't bite the bait. So didn't eat that check left hook. Eats a stiff right hand which shakes Michael Hunter there. Here we go. This is him getting caught. He's got to be careful. That definitely did wobble Michael there. And that's the experience of Povetkin, just to make sure that he's not in the range, and then he can, when he wants to engage, he can step in and catch Hunter with some shots. And he did there with a cracking right hand. Just too much stepping in, too much being caught because he's leaning in and is well in range for a short uppercut when Michael Hunter comes in with that jab and then a right to the body would absolutely devastate Michael Hunter if he gets caught with that shot. So that's what I'd be calling for. That's what I'd be looking for if I was in the Povetkin corner for just a short uppercut. Povetkin making through another round though, last King of Scotland. Andy Ruiz looking relaxed. Very relaxed. Is there a more relaxed guy in boxing? Fucking hell. I don't know if there is. Single jab, then an up jab from Hunter. Good work. Stepping back now. Circling around to his left, just trying to get out the way. That they have the overhand right from Povetkin though. Just gets through partially. Single jab, then he tries a shovel uppercut. Or shovel hook, sorry, does Hunter, but it doesn't get through. Just smothering his own work a little bit. Stepping in with a jab. This is a big ring, by the way, but neither of them using this ring at all. Good work though in the inside from Povetkin. Left hook to the body, then one to the top of the head from Hunter. As they clinch, and Hunter gets in a succession of right hooks to the back of the body of Michael Hunter. I think the ref didn't see that, so allowed it to, well, it slipped through the radar, didn't it? Single jab there, just Povetkin trying to catch Hunter with a jab, trying to find his range, but Hunter proving to be slippy. Jab to the body from Michael Hunter. Nothing within his spite in this round just yet. Good right hand there to the body though from Povetkin. Hard right hand to the body. Must have those are energy sapping shots though from Povetkin. See, wild with the right hand, then it's a short little shovel hook to the body from Povetkin. Single jab, but see, Povetkin's now starting to walk forward and maybe walk through a little bit those jabs. He can't pull with that jab, Michael Hunter. There's that right hand. That short uppercut is there all day for Povetkin. He's just not seeing it. He's not looking to throw it. Decent shot to the body from Hunter in retaliation to Povetkin coming forward. Slipping the jab, does Povetkin. Eats the jab when he comes forward, though, this time round. Moving towards the left. Hunter electing to reset, feinting to come in with a jab, doesn't. Eats a left hook though this time round. Partially blocked. Hunter steps in with a left hook, misses, then steps in a right, a left, a right, and Povetkin is just... Povetkin slipping these punches, and it's telling you a lot because Povetkin shouldn't be slipping these punches. Povetkin's got decent body movement in general, but this is a 40-year-old man you should be able to tag because he's right in front of you, but these shots are just too obvious for an experienced fighter like Povetkin. He can see this coming, and he's not made him pay to any real extent just yet, but he will. Keep giving Povetkin that opportunity, and he will make you pay. That's King of Scotland saying Povetkin turning this round a bit. He definitely is. Using all his experience. Michael Hunter's just that bit sloppy. If he was a bit more accurate and he's a bit more educated with his use of punches, he'd be able to tag Povetkin more, but he's not at the moment. Part of that is what Povetkin's doing. I think he's stepping in a little bit quicker, or at least a little bit more. Knowing that the power is not going to rock him too much and being able to walk through the jab or take a jab just to give one back. And we're getting a promo here for Chavez Jacobs. That could be a really good... That could be a stinker or a really good fight. Because Chavez is fan-friendly in the sense that this guy just comes forward and just eats punches. And if Jacobs wants a war, Jacobs can have a war. I think he'll elect to box and it could end up being really boring with Chavez just chasing him around the ring. Which is the way you fight Chavez, isn't it? So you just completely nullify him. But if Jacobs does choose to exchange, that's going to be something crazy, won't it? Getting some shots of some ladies in the crowd. Clash on the Dunes, man, is such a terrible, terrible name. Fourth round here, 4 rounds. Now Povetkin's made it into. Povetkin dipping low. Michael Hunter just moving around to his left. Short little, I think it was an uppercut got through though from Povetkin there. Stepping in with a double jab, Povetkin. Povetkin dipping low to his left and it's just able to nullify some of those punches. He dips low every time Michael Hunter comes forward and it's just putting Michael Hunter off. Hunter hasn't got an answer for it just yet. He should be looking to aim for the body as opposed to the head. Cash on the Dunes is right. Get rid of that L and you've got it. I haven't seen that before. People must be saying that. Like, I'm going to give you the credit because I haven't seen Cash on the Dunes yet, but that's exactly what it is, isn't it? Fair play to the boxers though. I never begrudge any boxer getting the money. It's a short career. It's a hard career. Make the money you want. This isn't like politics. We can talk about the politics anytime, and I know a bit about that. But strictly when it comes to boxing, get the money. If it's there, get the money while you can, and get out of the sport healthily, for sure. Michael Hunter is the one that's choosing to make this sloppy now with these clinches, and now electing to box in the back foot. I don't think he wants to be there. He wants to be like he was in the first round, pushing Povetkin back and trying to catch him, but he's not been able to do that. Povetkin using all of his experience. Eats a little short right hand there though as they choose to exchange with each other. Overhand right as well, which Povetkin has tried to shoot throughout this whole fight. It just gets through this time. Then there's that leaping left hook there from Povetkin. Got through as well. That trademark punch of Povetkin. Good right, hard right hand to the body from Povetkin. And then a right up top. I think it got through. It's hard to tell. It might have just got caught on the forearm. Just gonna quickly get a top up on my drink because it's getting cold in here and I need this tea to keep me warm. My toes are freezing. Right, I'm back. Just got my refill of green tea because it is cold in here and it's keeping me warm. Slipping. Oh, was that left hook that just got through? Maybe causing a little bit off balance for Hunter. Good little left hook. Good left hook into double left hook. Oh, great left hook there from Petkin. Petkin catches Hunter. Hunter is all over the shop. Cracking shot. It's that he loves that left hook. Absolutely loves the left hook from Petkin. If you could not see the left hook coming from Petkin, if you're not prepared for it, you're gonna get it. And he got it right there. Doesn't want to take too many more of them. Shooting an overhand right this time. Petkin now let him to trade a little bit here. Hunter moving towards his right. Now that's smart. Keep moving around. The Predator Mask, well, right now, the Predator Mask hasn't worked for him, and that entrance hasn't worked for him because Petkin sees his prey, and his prey is the Predator Michael Hunter right now. Cracked with a great left hook. That leaping left hook, he followed it up again and caught him on the ropes. Looked a bit shaky, did Hunter, but Hunter's now back on his 2 feet. He's just stepping back, good, catching a good shot on his guard, but didn't see the right hand though, which got through. This is tough work now for Michael Hunter, the younger man. Has been old manned by Povetkin so far. Good 2 hooks to the body from the Russian. Overhand right from Michael Hunter. They trade. Hunter catches him back with one as well, and the bell just curtails that exchange. It could have been something spicy, but it wasn't because both may be saved by the bell there. Good action here from both of them. Povetkin now stepping on the gas and taking over. There it is. A little bit lazy Michael Hunter. Stepping forward back. He's caught square and here, look. It's just so obvious this left hook when it comes. One. There it is. 1, 2. The left hook. He loves coming forward and stepping with that left hook. And throughout the... Yeah, I'm okay. He didn't look at Michael, unfortunately. To right, cash them checks and break them necks. Oh yeah, the boxer's short career. They need the money. I'm not going to say anything about any boxer again. Their career. They put on their entertainment. I love the sport. Letting them get their money. Low-key triggered. Good name. When does it start? Come here 8:30 or 8:35 if he's not sticking around, and we'll see you then, hopefully. Tripling up the jab there, going lower than high from Michael Hunter. This is good work. Go back to the boxing the basics. There's lots of rounds left, so you can win the fight on points. Just with more volume, step round, Matador and Bull. Just pump out that jab and make sure you're out of range. This is a big, big ring for Michael Hunter to make use of that real estate. There's a lot left, and this fight has been fought in just hasn't made use of the whole ring just as of yet. Has Michael, and he can and he should, if he's not electing to try and trade with Povetkin like he did in the first round. Sorry, use it to the full extent, and switch up the game plan a bit because it's just come a bit stale. It didn't work out with the first round. Povetkin wasn't caught cold and weren't ready to go at all. That's it, back foot. Pump out that jab as Povetkin comes forward. Maybe step in with an uppercut as well. You don't leave yourself open for that left hook. Oh shit, I totally forgot about the football. So United beat City. So what? That lead has been extended now from who's going to catch fucking Liverpool, you know? Unless Liverpool do what Liverpool usually do, which is, you know, let a lead slip. Leicester maybe? Leicester are doing really well. I think they're playing tomorrow. Who scored for United? And who scored for City? Please tell me De Bruyne scored. I've got De Bruyne in my fantasy. I'm gonna have a quick look myself. Here we go. So Rashford has scored. It looks for the Otamendi. Fuck, that doesn't do anything for me. Rashford and Martial. City are at home. Fuck. That's a massive, massive result for United, who seem to be turning the corner a little bit here. Anyway, this is an interesting fight, and I think Povetkin is slow. You can see the sweat all over him. He looks very tired. Just noted that he looks quite tired. His mouth's open a little bit as well. After what good uppercut though there. After what was a really good fifth round from Povetkin, at the halfway stage now, the big Russian, 40-year-old big Russian heavyweight just looked to me like he was slowing down a tiny bit. Now can Michael Hunter here step on his gas? More volume for Michael Hunter is what I think would be on the order of the menu here. Using that jab, stepping around, keeping on the outside. You've got a 4.5-inch reach advantage against your opponent. Use it to your advantage here. You've chosen not to just yet. Don't leap and lunge out of range, which he had been doing for this first 3 or 4 rounds. Keep it short, keep it sharp. Just box to orders, and you can win on points here. As opposed to getting caught, like you have a couple of times. Yeah, Martial and Otamendi for City. Don't know what's happened to City, man. They were obviously menacing last season. I think after, obviously, we lost them 6-0, it's just been downhill for them, hasn't it? That 6-0 really curtailed them. I think that's what it was. Oh, man, being at that FA Cup final when I was there was just shit. A mist has descended over Povetkin and Hunter in the 7th round, clouding our vision here, and probably the vision of those ringside. I don't know what is it, sand? Is that sand? No, it's smoke. There you go. That smoke has now drifted away. The smoke from fucking Lost has taken a different colour. It's not the black smoke from Lost. It was a clear, transparent one, a little bit grey. Made an appearance after however many years in the den. And just descended over Saudi Arabia on this Clash of the Dunes. Maybe making a bit of an appearance itself, getting a bit of money for the cameos, the Lost character, the smoke. But it's moving out of the way now and just jabs here. Good jab there. Stepping forward with a jab to the body. Povetkin moving out of the way of it, but good. That's what should be on order. Some jabs from Michael Hunter. Keep it at range. Keep it at that distance. Good uppercut on the inside. The Russian landed in a big right uppercut, jacking the head back of the American. Shots to the body, then up to the head. The body shot wasn't blocked. Michael Hunter ate a solid body shot, but his gloves were up for the attack up to the top, which might have proven lucky for him, or well, educated for him, because if he was open for that, he would have taken a big shot on the inside. We didn't see it, but I heard it. A good right hand to the body in return from Michael. There we go. Right hand to the body, then a right hand up top from Michael. Michael might have seen something here. From a slow Povetkin here, you can see him now. He's getting really tired. Here's the output now. Cracking overhand right, though, from Povetkin in return. As Michael Hunter is trying to take advantage of Povetkin, who's looking slow, he's looking tired, he looked hurt to the body. Povetkin just make sure he answers him, tells him, I'm still here. Big overhand right there from Povetkin, just to let Michael know, hey, you can't get me out just yet because I'm still alive here. And by no means do I mean say like he's still alive, but because he's by no means was he about to get taken out, but he's still alive is probably what I want to say as opposed to alive. Good, that's good to see though, because I would have thought that after what Michael Hunter's been taken, as well as seeing that Povetkin's still there and walking through his jabs and such, that he's still willing to exchange and want to take his man out, even though he could get caught. That replay of that overhand right is a fucking banger. That was an absolute banger of a shot, which Michael Hunter took on into the chin, showing he's got a chin at heavyweight. He doesn't want to take too many of those in his future fights. However, Povetkin's a big puncher, and taking a punch on the chin like that and staying on your feet is a good sign, but you don't want to show too many of those good signs, do you, in this heavyweight division? This is a good fight. So the last King of Scotland, it damn well is. It's turned into it started off really good, didn't it? And now as we approach, I think it's the 8th round. It's set up really well for both men. Povetkin now tiring. Michael Hunter means that he can now impose his will as such if he chooses and wants to on Povetkin, but I still think he probably should box to orders here and just keep it short, keep it sharp, keep it smart, keep it easy, light and free on your feet as he just started, but now he's gone a bit flat-footed now. I think Michael Hunter really wants a knockout victory over Povetkin. I think he wants that statement. Good shot to the body, smothers his work up left, but then it gets in another good shot to the body, does the American, leaping forward with those hooks. The left hook, I think, got through as he stepped forward with that left hook, and now he's separated by the referee. Povetkin needs a single jab, but steps back. As Michael Hunter stepped forward there, the big Russian that tries to slip and then hit a right hand, but Michael Hunter, I think, just moved out the way of it, or was just out the way of it. Not drinking my tea properly. On the inside, 2 left hooks from Povetkin on Hunter, as he's now stepping round and just jabbing to his left. That leaping left hook again from Povetkin. He always loves to pull that out of the bag. This time Michael Hunter was wise to it. Stiff jab there from Michael Hunter. Again, good jab, then the right hand followed up on the inside as they clinch. A little bit sloppy, but I think it's an elbow got through from Hunter. Hunter with a single jab again, sloppy stuff here. It's been good so far. I don't want it to just devolve into a jab and grab sort of thing. It's visible now. It's now obvious how much Povetkin is now slowed down, and he eats another stiff, hard jab to the body. That stick from Hunter just keeps jabbing and prodding it to the face, to the body. Out of range. Michael Hunter avoids a big right hand. The Predator now, I think he's engaged in his Predator vision here and seeing his prey this time around over there. How many Predator opponents can I get in? I mean, Michael Hunter, I suppose you might want to get out. Fuck, I can't do it. Get to the chopper. I was trying to set that one up, but I didn't. And only decent with punch. Good check left hook there from Hunter. Slipped overhand right from Povetkin, but didn't come back with anything in the bell for that round rings. Good work there from Povetkin. Those body shots, those single jabs to the body, a couple of hooks every now and again. Really good work from Michael. After being a little bit shaky in the previous rounds, getting caught with shots as well in those previous rounds. What's this promo? Oh, Jaime Munguia, a middleweight. Spike O'Sullivan, I mean... Oh, man, I remember that knockout from Lemieux, man. I remember that fight was just built up as something that either can knock either out, and then Lemieux just showed he was just too much quality for Spike O'Sullivan. It'll be decent as long as it lasts. You don't want to see Spike O'Sullivan get, like, washed out. It might, but... I don't know. It'll be a decent fight, I think, that one. That'll be a decent fight. And we're watching a decent fight right now. Alexander Povetkin versus Michael Hunter. Big ring here, not being used all that much. Most of the action is stayed towards the center of the ring. Both been circling around each other. Good up jab there from Michael. The American lunges forward, sloppy with his work, but a good left hook, then shoots an overhand right, which is swung wildly. Povetkin is out of the way of it. Swinging wildly again. Povetkin all too easy dips his head out of the way and then serves up a savage left hook to the body, which caught Hunter. He ate that shot cleanly. Doesn't want to eat too many of those body shots cleanly because they will stop you quickly. Again, trying to shoot with that left hook to the body, Povetkin did. But this time, Michael Hunter saw it come in. There, a single jab. Good work from Michael to the body. Povetkin doesn't have an answer. He doesn't choose to block it either. He just takes it. But swinging wild hooks, though, he's tried it many a time, and occasionally he'll get through, but more often than not, they don't, and Povetkin's just way too experienced to being caught by them. Don't pour with that single jab, though. This time he's poured with that single jab to the body, and he'll get himself caught by one if he's not committed to it. Yeah, that ring is absolutely massive, and that might tell you a little bit about the main event, won't it? About what Anthony Joshua might be looking to do when it comes to fighting Andy Ruiz, because that is a big ring. Leaping in with that left hook, it's blocked this time. Shoots to the body in the clinch. They're just wriggling out of the way, and Michael Hunter is getting some good work in this clinch. Povetkin tries to shoot an uppercut. Michael slipped out of the way of it. Now backing off from that clinch and looking to catch the Russian as he comes forward. Single jab again. Good single jabs here, which have been really helpful in him engaging the distance and slowing down a come forward Povetkin. Good work to the body. In these sloppy moments, Povetkin's getting no work in. Michael Hunter is getting work in, and that volume will prove, hopefully, if you're in the Michael Hunter camp, in these championship rounds. Yeah, just a bit too open as he's leapt in there. Michael Hunter, he's got to be careful. That's something Povetkin will eat up all day. Both of them walk into the same corner. Alexander Povetkin went to the wrong one. They want to share a stall there. Amir Khan modelling his new frosty... I quite like it, actually. I used to have blonde hair myself. I quite like that kind of look. So we're getting a float, and in that float we're getting Diego Pacheco fighting in the float. A couple of there's an interview with him on Boxing News TV on Diego Pacheco. Looks to be a decent prospect, or looks to prove himself as a decent prospect. Does Diego Pacheco? In that time, obviously we can hype up at the fight. We've got, hopefully if that ends by knockout, Pacheco can get on. Pacheco finish that fairly, and then we'll get those ring walks for Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. Dig fucking deep, mate. Isn't an Australian in the corner of Hunter, is there? Dig fucking deep, mate. Dig fucking deep, mate. Pacheco better win quickly, yeah. Fucking hope so. Pierce-Taggers, yeah. I mean, they want as much action and as much people they can advertise to as quick as possible. Gives them that couple extra minutes. That extra bit of time in it for them to get the people in to watch the fight. I'll get to that last King of Scotland after this round, and I do agree with you. I do. I think if you had that Quigg Carroll fight, that would have been a great fight. That would have been a really good fight. I think on paper, it could have turned out to be a really good, really good card from top to bottom. At least in terms of, the white whack. That was a good fight. Don't get me wrong. It was a good watch, but it wasn't like, when it comes to 25 quid, you want a bit more. Again, with this fight, it's a decent fight. It's an intriguing enough fight, but it's not a big fight again that you want for that £25 for that £5 increase. Agree with you. Good fights in any sort of normal sense, but pay-per-view wise, you want that something else. And it's a shame that the Quigg Carroll fight got called off, obviously because of injury, because that would have been a really good fight. To watch there. Hopefully we get to see that fight another time. But yeah, I completely agree with you. That ring is massive, man. Yeah, I mean, in that Pacheco fight, I'll just be throwing out my clips anyway, so I've got quite a few clips to put out. So, good work there. I didn't see much of that round. There were some good body shots here. Body shots of what have been on the menu from Hunter in these last few rounds. Good work there. I think that's been a change of tact. Instead of trying to knock out the fella like he did in the first round, which was really engaging, don't get me wrong, but not quite the right... When you don't have the power, and I think Hunter's shown here that he hasn't quite got the power as a fully fledged heavyweight, but I'm not saying he like the one punch, like that concussive power. Hunter's obviously got power, and if he lands properly on Povetkin, he could probably wobble and maybe drop him, but not showing that it has that big power. I don't think he was going to show that, but I'm just saying it's evident here. as we can see in this massive ring, that's the case. I don't know if this is a sellout. I'll have to message Ben and ask him if this is like a proper sellout, because there's 15,000 in there. You'd think, you know, being the first mega fight in Saudi Arabia, this would sell out, but who thinks the Saudis are going to sing Sweet Caroline? This is a tired now, Povetkin breathing visibly out of his mouth. Good left hook. Oh, here we go. Hunter's caught his man here. Looking very shaky. Povetkin ready to go here, I think. Hunter's got to be wary, but landing freely now on Povetkin. Smothering his work, though. Povetkin has got the experience. He'll tie up. He won't let himself be in range for shots, but he's just caught him with a few now. Povetkin looking... Here we go. Looking ready to go. Michael Hunter's just got to be composed here. Don't be wild. Be composed at this point of time. Be wary of the counter, but also execute the finish on your opponent. He stepped forward here and... see? This is the old man in Povetkin. He's just stepped forward clumsily, but I think probably deliberately as well, with the head, and caught Hunter here. I think deliberately to buy him those extra seconds here against Hunter, because he was looking in all sorts of in a bit of a predicament there. But that's good. That's good from Hunter. Hunter needed to show that he has this effect on a fully fledged heavyweight, whether he's 40 or not. It's still Alexander Povetkin who's putting some decent performances. He's now starting to tag him a lot more freely and open. This is a tired Povetkin looking to happily engage in clinches to buy himself seconds, see himself through the round. That's an astute observation there from Sergio Mora. It's the body shots that set this sort of stuff up, so don't negate going to the body and then finishing off to the head. He's now guilty a little bit. Hunter is guilty of head hunting a little bit. He's getting this success, but shoot to the body, then go up with the head, and you might catch Povetkin out with that body shot. Crippling body shots for an old man to be taken, or an older in the ring in terms of boxing sense man to be taken. I'm going to go for a quick toilet break and fill myself up. Hopefully I'm not missing the action. Right, I am back with my recharge, refill a drink. 2 minutes of this 12th round left. Be interested to see how this is scored. What the hell has happened to Hunter here? Fucking hell. I seen stuff like that in the wrestling ring. I think Hunter got pinned there by the half cover from Povetkin, using some Russian wrestling techniques and WWE techniques, pinning his man. Don't know what happened there, if he slipped or he must have just slipped or and just got flattened. Doing his Brazil impression. Good right hand from Povetkin. A Russian heavyweight with a solid right hand, blocked partially on the gloves from Hunter, but those will take it out of you nonetheless. Wild still though from Hunter. Go back to the boxing that you were doing so well, then try and catch Povetkin out. He's obviously going to come out supercharged for the 12th round because it's the 12th, but you've been catching your man. You can continue to catch him as you have been, and don't negate shooting to that body. That single jab to the body was so effective. It got through literally every single time that he shot that that jab to the body. You'd get through with it as long as he wasn't out of range for it when he stepped in for it. But he's not thrown that so far from what I've seen. As we're coming to the last minute of this 12th round, it's been a monumental effort for both of them. Povetkin is gassed after the 6th round mark. Povetkin gassed, done well. Both of them have done well here. It's really strange, really hard fight I think to score. I haven't scored it at all. These guys are all over each other, and I don't mean in a boxing sense, just like the way the bodies are contorting, because they're both just wild and finding themselves in awkward positions after they engage. Can we get anything crazy here in these last 20 seconds? Bell for the 12th round rings. This one goes the distance and will go to the scorecards. Decent enough fight this was. An intriguing fight at times. Michael Hunter looking to take his man's head off in that first round, which was really engaging, really quite enthralling actually. Povetkin with the experience, getting himself back into the fight. By no means was he out of the fight, but putting himself into the fight, showing that he's got the experience, got the ability to see himself through that sort of period, because he's seen it all before. Winning quite a few of those rounds there. We'll see what the judges say on the scorecards, but winning a lot of the middle and early rounds there, because he's got through that first initial onslaught from Michael Hunter, but then started to gas after the 6th. Michael Hunter then as well elected to kind of box a bit more as opposed to engage, and shot more to the body as well, which was really effective. Those single jabs to the body were really effective, and at times he did then set it up with jabs to the body, and then going up to the head with combination punches. But it was setting up to the body, which rocked Povetkin as he then leapt onto the head. But it's that body work that set that up. Povetkin looked like he was going to be out. Michael Hunter pouring on the pressure, but again, Povetkin being experienced, just old manning, using his old techniques that he's learned in the ring, just stepping forward with the head, catching him, buying himself those seconds to see through that storm. Michael Hunter himself early in the fight as well, getting caught with that leaping left hook, that step forward left hook that Povetkin loves to do throughout his whole career. He loves that punch. It's a trademark punch from him. Michael Hunter was susceptible to it throughout the fight. I think towards the last 6, in those last 6 rounds, he kind of caught onto it a bit more, but in those first 6, he was getting caught with it more. But we'll see if who gets the win here. And could be in line for a heavyweight title shot. Maybe another fight's online in the cards. I don't know if this is an eliminator or anything such like. Maybe another fight and then heavyweight fight. But there's talk of either of these fighters getting a heavyweight title shot. I reckon the Saudis have rocks in their pockets in case Andy wins. The Saudis definitely, in my opinion, the Saudis will want Anthony Joshua to win. He's a lot more marketable. He can't, in terms of compared to Ruiz. Anthony Joshua looks like he's more from that area, and when it comes to being from that area, you want someone that looks like someone that could be from the region that you're marketing in. And as well, he's a massive name anyway, regardless of that. one of the biggest names in one of the biggest names in boxing and one of the biggest names in sports in general. They will want, from a public point of view, and then from the Saudis who are actually orchestrating this whole event, they will. I'm sure they will want Anthony Joshua to win. Rocks, Andy. I think they're an appreciative bunch in general. I think they'll obviously give them the kudos, but imagine the pelting. It's like when Tyson bit Holyfield, innit? And he just got a pelting from the crowd. Good respect here shown from Povetkin to the crowd, and then the crowd to Povetkin, standing on their feet here, standing ovation here from those at least in the front that we can see as the judge is about to, the scorecard's about to be read out from David Diamante. Last King of Scotland's going for Povetkin. 115, 113, Povetkin. Could be a draw. 115, 113. Don't rule out the draw here. There it is. There it is. Yep. The draw. I just felt that. Not from looking at the fight at all. I didn't score the fight, but I just felt like when we got those decisions, it's called a draw. Do it again. Like both have got something to prove. It's a bit of a shit step for both of them because obviously, if they're both in line for a heavyweight title fight after that, coming through the win, where does the draw put them? So go run it again. Why not run that again? But it's Alexander Povetkin and Michael Hunter battling to a 12-round draw after a judge had it 115-113 either way for both fighter, and then Glenn Feldman with the deciding scorecard calling it 114 to 114 a draw. Until last typical Eddie bullshit. I didn't score it, so I can't really tell you. It was good, decent fight, engaging. Run it back again. I have to watch it to give you. Neither fighter looked like pissed, which is sort of maybe like a tell. Because normally when you get these decisions, one fighter's like, nah, I won that. Nah, it's a piss. That's a piss take. All that sort of shit like that. Yeah, Hunter calling for that fight again. Run it again. In the case of the draws, just run it again. Povetkin there showing his class. Jaw hurting a little bit here. Oh man, that Ryder Smith the other week was embarrassing. Embarrassing is the word. Again, I didn't score it, but I had it on the eye test to John Ryder. Callum Smith just couldn't deal with, for whatever reason it was, he just wasn't able to deal with a man who was just rushing forward. I don't mean that in any bad ability sense, but he was rushing forward and able to close that distance, get in, and then engage on Callum Smith, who didn't have an answer for it, and it just wasn't the way those judges saw that fight, which was just ridiculous. It's a shame because, in a sense, it's decent because the profile increases of John Ryder, but the profile would have been astronomical had he won the belt. So it's almost like what I'm saying is bullshit, but I'm saying it as well. But I suppose it's one of those things that you can take from it is that his profile has increased from it, and people want to see the rematch, and he might get the rematch. I don't know if he will, but it is just a shame sometimes. And I asked Frank about these scorecards. Obviously, it's an Eddie Hearn show, but I had the opportunity to ask Frank Warren about these scorecards and what you do. And I do think something needs to happen. Whether you go with open scorecards, open scorecards doesn't really change anything because, as Frank was saying, it's still the scoring. But at least you give the fighter the opportunity in the camp to see, like in the corner as it goes, what's happening, and if they need to change something, if they need to do something, if they're not seeing the fight being won that way, they can probably change something. But still, I suppose that doesn't rectify the problem. Boxing Socials, Rob Tebber, Adi Oladipo, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, from Boxing Talk with Ade, Ben Faruqi as well from Boxing News TV. Shout out to those guys. They discussed this sort of thing on one of their podcasts. I think it was Impromptu Tweets, which is on Boxing News TV, which you can check out. And it's one of those things where you just want these referees to be held accountable for it. You know what I mean? And I don't know what the solution is. I want to do a video on scorecards at some point and make a good fist of it with this video. I've got a few ideas for it. And maybe I'll try and draw up a couple of solutions and draw up the pros and cons of it. But it sucks out. And this is what I said to Frank. Like, it kind of ruins a show because let's say if it's a great show, no one really talks about the show and talks about boxing. They then talk about scorecards and they talk about how shit boxing is, which is a shame because it puts that kind of spot on the sport, which you don't want. But something's got to change in that sort of sense because there's been a run of it. You know, the Crawler, Katie Taylor, and I'm not saying this is my opinion, but this is a consensus coming from the public. The run of it has been Crawler, Katie Taylor had one, Smith Ryder had one, Bowen Kakachi, one of the refs had it to. Was it O'Connor? I can't remember who it was. One of the refs had it to Sam Bowen, and I was sitting there ringside, and it just wasn't that fight at all. You know, these scorecards can really put a damper on really good fights. So, Jacob Pacheco here, Taylor Tape against Selimani Saidi. 20 wins, 15 losses, 5 defeats. 20 wins, 15 losses. What's that? 5 what? Draws? I'm getting knackered here. Yeah, I mean, it's just a shame. You've got to, especially at the main event, especially world title fights, you can't let, especially as a promoter as well, you can't let there be a bad or negative feeling left out of sport because people just won't come back. And boxing as well, it's not a massive sport. It's a big sport, but it's not massive. And when people start getting disillusioned with it, people don't watch them, people don't come, people don't spend the money, people don't get their tickets. So it will have that effect on them. It's already having that effect now because people are just like, fuck this, fuck boxing, I can't be arsed. But something's got to happen. Right, as we're waiting for, they've fucked us over here, haven't they? 8:45 ring walks. Now it's gonna be 9, I think. It'll be after this fight. But as people are coming in, smash the like and subscribe if you're new here. Let's get on to our next one. I'm just gonna replay the one if you guys were here a moment ago. Let's go back to this one about focus and the mindset that Anthony Joshua is in coming into this fight. So let's go. Here's the clip now.
I think he feels good. I mean, I was listening to him with the round table, with the press, saying all the right things. I mean, it comes down to Saturday, doesn't it? I mean, it's a completely different space than he was in the first fight. But, you know, on the first fight, I wasn't hanging around him during the week going, oh, you know, he seems overconfident or... So it's hard to tell, but looking back at that first fight, he's much more focused this fight. He wants to win so badly. He wanted to win last time. I don't think he had any emotion towards Ruiz. You know, it was just like...
There was a lot going on in that situation.
Yeah, the 4 weeks before the fight, with Miller and then Ruiz, and then everyone talked about Wilder and like, I don't know. But the excuses, you know, are irrelevant because he lost the fight. He lost to the better man. So he's got to make sure that he's the better man on Saturday.
Right then, so you'll have seen that before. Obviously, I just thought I'd give that a replay just because I want to illustrate my point as we're waiting for Danny Pacheco, to do this fight, hopefully beat his opponent out, and then we can get Joshua's ring walks and such and talk about that. The mental game. AJ's headspace, his focus, comes down to Saturday. let's talk about the first fight. I mean, the mental game. Like, where do you guys think AJ was mentally in the first fight to now? A lot has been said about it, hasn't there? There's been a lot said about it. I want to get you guys' thoughts about this fight. Administrator guy, great to see you here. Smash like and subscribe. I can't give you live streams because if I put the link out, then I'll end up getting like you know, shut down and shit, which is what I don't want for my channel. I enjoy doing these live streams, so stick with me if you want a live reaction, someone to live react with. I'll be doing the commentary for it. If you're in England, you can go check it out live on BBC, like a commentary of it, BBC 5 Live. There are other places you can find other things for it, but I can't give those out, unfortunately. I wish I could, but I can't. But I appreciate you being in here nonetheless. Moving forward. So, that mental game. We've all talked about, everyone's talked about it, and we all kind of think we're experts coming off of it, don't we? I know we hate the cliche, but it's actually fitting right now because no doubt mentally, AJ has been on the journey from that first fight up until he does the ring walk and that first belt. Well, I mean, up until the end of this fight, you know what I mean? He has been on that journey that we keep hearing about that Andy Joshua is on, but he has. But let's take this time to do a quick recap of what's happened. Like AJ and Matchroom, obviously they wanted to take over America. They're established in England. They sell out arenas. It's dwindling a little bit, but they sell out arenas. You know, Cardiff's, Millennium Stadiums, wherever you go, Andy Joshua is going to sell out, right? So they want to go over to America. What with DAZN coming on and Eddie being on board with that, they need Andy Joshua to move the ticker. Whether he did or not, I can't quite remember if he did. I don't think he did. I think KSI and Logan Paul have done bigger numbers for them. They wanted him to move that ticker, and they set up a fight with Jarrell Miller, didn't they? And Jarrell Miller was starting to get that edge out of Anthony Joshua. You know those landlord comments, fish and chips, tea, the Queen, fart noises, as a spider crawls onto my laptop. Which is getting under the skin of Anthony Joshua, and this is a only 4-round contest. Brilliant. We're not going to have to wait that long. So anyway, Jerome was getting that edge out of Anthony Joshua that we weren't seeing before. Because even Dylan White, like, wasn't able to show this side of Anthony Joshua because obviously I think they knew each other. So Anthony Joshua knew how to handle Dillian, but when a stranger puts it on you. And he's quite big and imposing as well, and he's giving you that shit when you're in a different country as well. It got to Anthony, it seemed. And then obviously, a side note, I want to see that gloves are off, man. I want to fucking see that between Jarrell Miller and Anthony Joshua. That would have been a really good watch. Jarrell Miller, of course, tested positive for fucking everything under the sun. And the fight is off. And Ortiz had been saying in the background, yo, give me a call when Jarrell Miller... Here we go. We've got this fighter backing up now who Danny Pacheco's in with. Diego Pacheco, I think it is. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. Danny. Oh shit, what a fucking cracking right hand. This guy fell like a fucking tree in the woods. Pacheco was the man, the lumberjack with the chainsaw, and a right hand landing to the head of this fella here, who fell like a tree in the fucking woods, getting cut down by a chainsaw. I want to see that again. I gotta see that one again. Good to see the fella's okay, because he took a right hand and he fell hard. Let's have a quick replay of this. Hopefully we can get this. I'm going to go for a quick toilet as well after this replay. I'm needing it. Go on, give me that replay. Still attending to this fella. Hopefully he's okay. I think they're getting a translator for him. Yeah, I'm gonna pop to the toilet quickly. So, where were we? Yeah, just giving you the timeline whilst we're waiting. Might as well. I paid £250 pay-per-view just doing the Weasel editing with Wilder. What was it? Apparently apparently he's boxed before. Apparently he was in some fights. I've seen a couple of videos that Porky was saying. Porky's been quite entertaining, hasn't he, recently? What is this doing? Don't want that. Just give me 2 seconds. Right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just had to attend to something. Let's just make sure that's not a... Yeah, they're just stalling now, aren't they? Here we go. Right, so Michael Buffer is giving the official introductions. Let's get into the game plan. Is this the correct game plan for Anthony Joshua? Check this out.
I mean, to me, he should stick to his boxing. He should fight tall. Double jab, right hand. Ruiz comes in, you know, hold him, tire him, lean on him. Don't make it a dogfight. Box him. When things open up, then you can let your hands go in other ways. But, you know, to me, the blueprint's there. I said in another interview, you know, Manuel Stewart showed us a blueprint. You know, Klitschko, Lennox Lewis, double jab, right hand, fight tall. He's so powerful. Joshua's a powerful guy. He's very, very strong. I hope that his, you know, his stamina's up. He should fight calm. That's another thing. He needs to fight calm. He shouldn't go in all tense.
I don't believe, by the way, we're getting Sweet Caroline in fucking Saudi Arabia. This is absolutely surreal right now. Are they going to sing along? No. So anyway, David Diamante with his game plan there. What's your game plan here? Well, let me know what your game plans are in the comments if you have one at all, because obviously a lot of rhetoric has been that AJ needs to go back to basics, fight tall. I mean, can he fight tall? Ruiz is shorter and the overhands are obviously going to close the distance, as Ruiz as well closes the distance with his educated feet and pressure. David DeMant is saying, don't make it a dogfight. I mean, I agree. Like, don't wake the beast. That's Andy Ruiz loves to fight and fight with you. So don't wake the beast. Forget the hooks. Fight simple. Go simple. 1-2s. If you want to jab and grab, do the 1-2s. Double jab, right hand, hold, tire and lean. I think that's a good idea, holding, tiring and leaning. And don't fight tense. I mean, hey, there is a lot of pressure here. Could the occasion get to either of them? That's one of those things. It's easy to say don't get tense, but either, like, Andy Ruiz looks like the calmest guy ever and looks like, you know, pressure couldn't phase him at all. But, I mean, he says the blueprint is there, Manny Stewart. People seem to think and want him to refer to, obviously, the Klitschko kind of style. Will it work for AJ? Can he do that? Obviously, they must have been preparing for this sort of stuff. And is that the only way he can win? Is the only way Anthony Joshua can beat Andy Ruiz is by doing the Klitschko style? I'm not too sure. But let's look at a little bit more of some of the game plans that have been offered from people that we've been speaking to.
Take centre ring against the smaller guy, you know, pump out the jab.
Control the fight early.
Lock their arms up, I'll win ugly. Jab and grab.
Hold him, tire him, lean on him.
Time up, a little shot, walking back. A little shot, walking back.
Hold, turn, let the ref do his job, break.
Break him down, break him down, break him down, break him down.
Just winning the ugly decision.
So as you can see in that little promo there, winning ugly, Hashim Rahman said, simply put, forget about us, forget about the crowd, forget about entertaining us. If it takes winning ugly from Anthony Joshua's perspective, then by all means, do it. Be risk averse, win the rounds. If you knock him down, that's fine. Don't engage and go for the kill, just reset, go again. Take that center of the ring. How important must taking the center of the ring be? He didn't do that in the first fight. Can he do it this time against someone who's a front forward counterpuncher, stepping off on the back foot? That plays into Andy Ruiz's hands, but does also taking the center ring and being there in front of him also play into Andy Ruiz's hands? It's a bit of a strange one for Anthony Joshua to contend with. Game plans, do you think he kind of can do it? Or would that play into Ruiz's style? Like, I like the idea of him trying, like, tying Andy Ruiz up, a la the Parker performance. It was a boring fight, it was a hug fest, but he got the job done. It neutralized Joseph Parker, who never really got anywhere, never really got any offense. Anthony Joshua's making his ring walk now as we speak. And it's horrible when that happens, because eventually you feel like you can't do anything, because when you get there, you get tied up. So it makes you more wild and wanting to engage, which is where you can get picked off. What's Anthony Joshua coming out to? Let's have a quick listen. No idea what that is. Break him down. Like, this is where I agree with Eddie Hearn. Like, break him down systematically. Don't look to engage and try and get him out too easy. Just take it slow. Break him down one by one. Take it easy with him. Just go easy. Don't jump in. Just see it out slowly. Tom Little said as well something good there. As soon as he gets past the range of your wrist, that's when you need to be cautious. That's when you need to act. That's when you need to tie up the man and reset. Don't do any engagement there after he gets past your wrist, because at that point you're in range to eat one, and Andy Ruiz will get off those combinations if he sees you in your sights. You have to be careful. As Anthony Joshua moves towards the ring, let's have a look at obviously the scales. So, the scales there, as we know, Anthony Joshua weighing in at 237 pounds, Andy Ruiz weighing in at 283 pounds, a near 3 stone, or it's about 3 stone heavier than his opponent. I'm just going to drop a message to my friend who's asking me a question, who I ever got. Let's get back to this. Anthony Joshua is just making his ring walk now to the ring. Okay. Yeah. How much is that factor going to play? Because obviously Anthony Joshua has now lost 10 pounds and Andy Ruiz has put on more weight. Will he have the punch resistance to defend and come when he obviously is going to take a shot? Does he have what it takes to take a shot from Andy Ruiz? Can he? We'll have to see, because there's a lot said about when you lose his muscle, when you use this weight, your punch resistance kind of goes, and he can't afford for his punch resistance to not be there, because Andy Ruiz is going to get punches off of onto Anthony Joshua. So is it going to play an effect in that sort of sense, or the heat, Saudi Arabia? I don't know what it's like over there. I can't tell if it's hot, if it's cold. It seems to be raining, so it might be cold. So that extra additional weight, does Joshua then have to just see it out and make sure see if he tires first, and then try to look to engage if it becomes more an open fight? I'm not sure. Like, these are things we're about to find out pretty soon, as Anthony Joshua's now made his way to the ring. We're just waiting for the Mexican heavyweight, the champion, Andy Ruiz Jr. to make his way to the ring. Then we'll get the official introductions, maybe even get the national anthems as well. So again, whilst we're waiting, 25 quid. So this pay-per-view is 25 quid. Will BT Sport and Frank Warren look to raise the prices to match that price of 25 quid when it comes to Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder? Let's have a look.
Your pound round?
Yep.
4 or 5 of them round. It's probably 5-6 quid a piece.
As a promoter in the market, does that kind of force your hand then to try to match that price then when it comes to you putting on a pay-per-view?
Well, it's not that. It's about it's being able to compete with the promoters in the States and so forth. And that's what you try to do. They've gone to Saudi Arabia. Maybe they're cashing in AJ. I don't know.
So there we have Frank Warren with his comments about I did ask him, are you looking to raise, will you have to raise those prices because of, what's happened? Is it force your hand in an effort to try and get him to answer the question? And he said it's about competing with the market, and he said that, you know, the stuff that we've been hearing, you get a few of your mates around and 25 quid isn't all that much. So it seems to me on the face of it that BT Sport in their future fights, in these elite fights in which they've been called with these heavyweights, Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, maybe a Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury fight in the future, maybe we're going to get that £25 mark. Sorry, I'm just getting a load of text here. One second. Do apologise. Let's just give that a quick thingy. And reset. Okay. So yeah. I think everyone kind of knows. It's like the worst kept secret, I suppose, now that, you know, what with this increase isn't going to be one-off. At least in my opinion. This is frustrating. Yeah, it's going to be frustrating because this isn't a one-off by any means. This is something that we're going to see in the future for big fights, whether we see it often in this next year or we just see it once or twice for quote-unquote these big fights. I don't know, but it's something that we should probably get used to and get the national anthems now. 25 will be the new standard. Well, you know what? I suppose the best we can probably hope for is that it's not the standard and it's just elite fights, and we still stick to the 20 quid pay-per-view for some of the, you know, the not elite fights, you know. It's still frustrating, but it's something we can hope for, I suppose. Just getting the British national anthem whilst we're waiting. I'm going to pull up a quick montage for you guys, again, which is shown before, and I hope you enjoy it. I'll be back in a few moments.
Hold them, tire them, lean on them.
Time up, a little shot, walking back. A little shot, walking back.
Hold, turn, let the rest of your job break.
All of that doesn't matter. What matters is what you do inside the ring.
And still.
This is in round 1. This is round number 8.
Breaking down, breaking down, breaking down.
I think is that I want to box me around, try to move around, trying to get me in from the distance, but I don't think he's really good at backing up, you know, with a lot of pressure, especially me being low and staying low and throwing my combinations. I think that's what makes me really effective.
Focus on winning. Solely winning. Don't worry about losing. Focus on winning. Mine's the biggest muscle in the body, so I just use it to my advantage.
Mentally, after, you know, getting stopped the way he did, getting blocked 4 times, and then, you know, getting the stoppage at the end, you know, it can definitely play a toll on a person. So I can't wait to see how he's going to react to that.
When you're on top, it's very easy to get complacent and everyone's patting you on the back saying you're the greatest. But now, he's back to the AJ maybe that when I first met, you know, that edgy guy, maybe a guy with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder who wants to prove people wrong. But I'm more nervous because of the pressure he's put on himself to perform and to win and how much he wants to win.
I think if he tries to knock Andy out, he gets knocked out.
You know, I think the longer the fight goes on, it'll be better in favour of Joshua. You know what I mean?
AJ's hasn't taken Reese's best shot, and Reese has taken his best shot. So coming into a big fight like that, you gotta put that on the table.
Andy's gonna come in and give it 100%. He's gonna give it all he's got, and so is Joshua. So it's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be fireworks.
This is a major moment in heavyweight boxing, and I believe that people remember this for a long time. And I believe that people remember this for a long time. And I believe that people remember this for a long time.
Right then, I'm back. Okay, so 1 second. Sorry about that. I just thought I'd throw in a quick promo whilst this is getting on. Yeah, so we've got any moment now. This fight is we're gonna hear the first bell for it. I can't wait for it. I suppose it's got the official introductions. Next level Hydro. If AJ loses tonight, who at Sky will be worth £25 pay-per-view? They'd have Canelo. If they can get Canelo Triple G, I reckon they'll market that at 25 quid. If they can get that fight to happen. Smith Canelo happens, maybe, but nobody else. Well, that's interesting. If they do Smith versus Billy Joe Saunders, is that 25 quid? I think that might be one that they might trial the 25 quid at. If Dylan White gets a heavyweight fight, a title clash, they might put him on for 25 quid. Michael Buffer, Assalamu alaikum. Chisora Usyk, which is supposed to be for next year, early next year. That might be a 25 quid one as well. I think that's definitely going to be pay-per-view, so we'll see what price that's going to be an interesting price that one is. It will set the tone for the year, won't it? That will give us a lot of idea, I think. Because Chisora Usyk is a good fight. Well, it could be a good fight. Maybe the stars might not match, but it could be a good fight. But I think it's one that it's very likely to be a pay-per-view, like that pay-per-view mark. Whether we think it's pay-per-view or not, it's one that can be set up for pay-per-view quite easily, is what I'm trying to say, sorry. We're just getting the introductions, so let's roll off a couple more of these promos whilst we're waiting for the fight. And let's talk about the pre-fight feels. Let me know about your pre-fight feel, because here's what Eddie Hearn had to say about how he's feeling for the fight.
Klitschko Joshua, not even close to how I'm feeling right now about this fight. And I can't wait. I guess this is how we should be feeling, right? You know, too many times maybe you go to an event or a show and the buzz isn't quite there because maybe you might know the result of the fight. And you're always excited, but this is like can't sleep shit. You know? And for me, as a fan and someone that loves sport, although I realise you can win or lose tomorrow night, this is the feeling you should want, you know, in sport and in life.
So who else is shitting themselves for this one? British boxing, maybe British boxing fans, us guys, we might be shitting ourselves for this. It's one of them. It is one of those fights where this is a pay-per-view fight. Forget about the price. This is definitely a pay-per-view fight. I don't think it's one that you can argue that it is or isn't. This, in the circumstances that it is definitely pay-per-view, and it's one that puts you on edge and gets you back into wanting boxing to get up there, because in light of recent scorecards, and hey, we might even see one here in this fight, don't rule that out just yet. You want these big fights to grab people back in and get people back in tune. You get the casual market as well to help the sport grow, and this is one of those fights that definitely does that. Definitely captures your imagination, like the fight early in the year, Anti-Yard versus Sergey Kovalev caught my imagination. Even a bit of the first fight, don't get me wrong, didn't overlook Ruiz, but I was a bit like for that first one. But this one is definitely one that's properly grabbed me. Everyone's interested in this fight, and you get those pre-fight jitters, those pre-fight buzz, don't you, from it? And it's one that we want our homeboy, don't we? I'm rooting for Anthony Joshua to win. This is how I see it. I'm rooting for Anthony Joshua to win. I think Anthony Joshua does win. I don't want to see any dodgy scorecards. I don't want to see any early stoppages. I think everyone can say this, but I'm going to say this. I can see Andy Ruiz winning again, and maybe even more clinical. But I think Joshua, sticking to a game plan, should be able to see this through. I just don't want, like Andy Ruiz says here, a dodgy scorecard. Let's check it out.
A little bit, you know, we are worried a little bit about that, but it's my job, so it doesn't go to the decisions, and it's my job for me to win all the rounds, you know, so, you know, if it goes my way, it goes my way, but if it doesn't, like I said, well, there's probably going to be a trilogy for this amazing fight, but of course, I'm going to do anything that's possible to get that victory.
So Andy is saying that obviously he knows it's his job, that, you know, he's got to make sure it doesn't go to scorecards, or he doesn't, you know, he wins those rounds. So there's not that possibility of that happening, but it would be a shame. We don't want that. We don't want, you know, this fight to be marred by any sort of controversy to that sort of level. You want it to just be a fight that ends the way it ends, and ends with none of that stuff going on. So hopefully we don't get that, and hopefully that worry isn't realised when it comes to this fight actually happening, when we're moments away here from this fight. We'll play one last clip and then we'll get into it, and it's about the future of British boxing. Actually, we won't, because the fight's about to start right now. So let's get into it. Put your predictions in right now. It starts right now, UK Bengali. Here we go, first round. Anthony Joshua sent the ring with a left hook. Single jab from Andy Ruiz. Nice little jab there to the body from Anthony Joshua. Joshua light on his toes here. Just pouring out that jab. Andy looks bigger, you know. I think he looks bigger. Definitely, like, there wasn't any skullduggery when it came to those weight being on the scales. He does look bigger. I'm sorry. AJ controlling the distance well here. Good crowd here. Good crowd noise here from those in Saudi Arabia. Single jab to the body from Andy. Pouring out the jab, just misses from Anthony Joshua. I think I can hear Robert McCracken saying, jab, stop, tie up if it needs to. Just eats a jab to the body from Andy Ruiz, does Joshua. Pouring out that jab, controlling the distance, moving when he wants to move. Decent stuff here. Just checking his looks. Andy Ruiz with some good body movement there, putting him off. A little bit of left hook tap there from Joshua, and the right hand, and moves out of range, jumps out of range. Keeping that lead hand up, then just dropping it a little bit. Single jab from Anthony Joshua. Visibly, you can see he's visibly slimmer as Anthony Joshua. Obviously, we've seen it throughout the week, but you can see it now fully. Good jab to the body. Not getting caught anywhere as Anthony Joshua. So good work here. Doing a good job of making use of the ring there. You saw that, the good right hand tagging Andy Ruiz. It looked like he'd stumbled from that shot. Just got to step off it now if that's the plan. But it was a good right hand there from Anthony. Is that a cut under the left eye of Andy Ruiz? Good right hand there. It looked like it just staggered. Yeah, I just got a message come through, and exactly right. Andy Ruiz looks terrible. Like, he's put on that weight and it just looks awful. There's no ruse or anything like that. There's nothing going on there. He's definitely that bit heavier. And there is a cut now under the left eye of Andy Ruiz. A really good shot. Yeah, that's a cracker of a shot. Really good work there from Anthony Joshua, who's boxing really well here. Doing really good. Every ounce of 20 stone. He is. He absolutely is. Smash the like and subscribe if you're new here. I can see AJ avoiding a 2-punch combo and striking him down at the right time. Very astute analysis there, UK Bengali. aka Nathan. Just got a technical difficulty on my end. Hopefully it sorts itself out. Whilst we're waiting for that to sort itself out. So it's a good first round there from Anthony. I thought he boxed well at range. He kept himself out of the range of Andy Ruiz as well, which is important throughout the full 12 rounds. It's something that he's got to be wary of, making sure he doesn't get caught by any shots, any silly shots as well. But even then, it did look like when he got that right hand, he wanted to engage, which he's got to be careful of. But then I think he then, took that step back and just saw what he had in front of him. I haven't got the second round just yet. Be a quick moment, hopefully. Right, one moment. I'm gonna have to do a BRB job. 1 second. I'm back, sorry. Right, now, hopefully everything is now in order. You should be able to hear me. Here we go. Single jab there from Andy Ruiz. Then doubles up with that jab. Just in range there. That was the issue. He was in range, so Andy Ruiz caught him with a double jab there. Let me know if I'm missing anything too much. I'm here now, don't worry. We're all good. You should be able to hear me now. Sorry about that. I'm back now, and we have Anthony Joshua now circling towards his right. You can just see the height difference as well now. Stepping forward, Anthony Joshua light on his feet, moving out of the way. Single jab from Anthony Joshua. Single jab to the body from Andy Ruiz. Good work on the range here. Keeping his range. Circling to his left and circling to his right. Andy Ruiz trying to cut down distance. He did there, but only engaged with the single jab. This is the third round. The third round where it went so well and then all went so wrong for Anthony Joshua. Part of the mental game here. Good stiff jab from Anthony Joshua. Feinting then to shoot a right hand but doesn't. Circling around Andy Ruiz, who's not putting on the pressure just at the moment. Single jab and right hand and left hook all miss for Andy Ruiz. Anthony Joshua light on his feet, moving towards his left. We'll see how much of this movement takes it out of Anthony as we get towards the later rounds. All this movement might take its toll on Anthony as we get towards those championship rounds if we do get there. But it's good work in not engaging. He just needs to pour that jab out a little bit more. There you go, pouring out that jab, and Andy Ruiz is out the way. He could have countered with something, but he chose not to. Out of the way of a single jab to the body in the right hand. No real work from either of them. Bit of a chess match third round, and I don't know how you score this one. I think someone's got to just do something just to land a bit of an effective punch here to win those rounds. Single jab gets through the guard of Andy Ruiz. Single jab gets through the guard again of Andy Ruiz. Good left hook to the body from Anthony, sorry. Those punches might just be the telling, well, those telling punches that give Anthony Joshua the round from the judge's point of view. UK Bengali and NXT Level Hydro is referencing Anthony Joshua, who has stamina problems, and he's moving around a lot. You can see the sweat on him. Andy Ruiz, when you're on the front foot, it's a lot easier and it takes less out of you than when you are on the back foot. When you're in the back foot, you have to move more because you have your opponent in front of you, obviously trying to cut down the ring. And AJ is moving a lot. I think he's been quite intelligent though, because when he's moving a lot, he's actually not expending a lot because he's not throwing a lot. So I think that's part of the plan. If he's moving on his feet, at least he's not going to expend double energy and having to throw because he's out of range, which is a smart idea. We'll just see if that's enough for him to contend with his energy and stamina levels when it comes to those later rounds. Andy Ruiz is trying to aim to the body and bait Anthony Joshua with that single jab to the body, then a right, and he wants to come over with either a left or a right. Anthony Joshua's not buying into it. He then tries to come over the jab of Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua's out of range. He tried to if that shot came through, he also rolled with it as well a little bit and moving his head. But fortunately for Anthony, the shot didn't make its way through. And then clinches. That's something we're going to see a lot more of, that clinch, as Andy Ruiz stepped forward. This is the boring fight and the winning ugly aspect that many saw it being. And it's not boring in the sense that I'm bored, because I'm still quite intrigued. But in terms of it actually being what it is, it's a very boring sort of style. There's not a lot of action going on. Tries to shoot with the right hand, then slips out of range from Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz eats a stiff jab from Anthony Joshua. Those jabs have been those telling punches, and Andy Ruiz is open for it. Just a single jab in return from Andy Ruiz. Pouring out the jab this time around is Anthony Joshua. Stepping back and stepping out range, just getting a little caught here on the ropes. An overhand right shot from Anthony Joshua, from Andy Ruiz. He saw it coming and got his head up. Tried to shoot with a 1-2 down the pipe. The two just missed. Left hook there from Anthony. Good jab from Anthony Joshua. Good jab on a right hand then that time. Good left hook from Anthony, and then an uppercut as he holds the head. Just smothered it there, then a clinch, and in the clinch, Andy Ruiz throws 2 right hooks to the body. Little cheeky little bit of action there, that trademark hold of the head and uppercut. Good overhand right there, this time though for Andy Ruiz. Anthony Joshua got caught there, took the punch well, but he's got to be careful not to get caught. This time he got caught on the ropes, a right hand shot but smothered, but in a clinch he eats a right hand from Andy Ruiz. Anthony Joshua kind of puts his arms out there, maybe trying to say there what kind of, that was nothing. But I would expect Andy Ruiz to start gassing after the 7th round. Andy Ruiz has a good tank, he's a good engine, it's been 12 rounds, you know, he's had 12 round fights. I don't think it's I expect him to tire, but I don't think he'll gas. I don't think he'll gas throughout this fight. I think this is definitely a fight where Andy Ruiz will give AJ constant pressure. But there was good work there. That was an overhand right to the back of the head, then a left hook on the inside. That's about that inside game. I said about Andy Ruiz there. Some good work there. One of those overhand rights was very reminiscent of the first fight. But part of that was born out of frustration as well, because Anthony Joshua just hasn't been in rage for Andy Ruiz, but he can't stay there. He can't switch off. A single jab for Anthony Joshua. It's good work because Anthony Joshua isn't fighting down to Andy Ruiz. He's keeping tall. Just letting Andy Ruiz just close the distance a little bit though. We're in round 5. A very cautious, a very tentative AJ. Not letting Andy Ruiz, occasionally he's been able to get through, but not letting him get forward. Making sure he doesn't get past that wrist and then he's in range for his combinations. Single jab gets through from the Mexican. Getting a lot of encouragement from Robert McCracken, shouting beautiful with the boxing that Andy Joshua is displaying here. Showing different looks, just slipping and pumping out a jab, an occasional check left, just to make sure Andy doesn't come in with anything. And it is putting off Andy Ruiz. Not any volume at all as we get towards the last minute of this 5th. Very minimal volume here. AJ's kept him quiet for this round by pumping out that jab. But the lead hand, that left, is coming a little bit low. Stiff jab there as Andy Ruiz tries to come over the jab. And a right hand from Anthony Joshua. Single jab to the body. A bit low, a bit lazy. Then a good stiff jab to Andy Ruiz, rocking the head back. There's the clinch here. Now he's got to be careful in the clinch. Tie the man up. Don't let him come in. And he does that well. Doesn't eat any shots in the clinch. Last 20 seconds of this round, which has been a really good round for Anthony. If he doesn't get caught around the ropes, this is a really good round for him. Really, that's the best round so far from Anthony Joshua as far as I've seen. The 5th round there. Good round there. Cracked him with a couple of shots. Andy Ruiz not getting any shots really there from his own perspective. So good work there from Anthony. Kept it long, kept it at distance. Cracked him a couple of times. Stiffed him with the jab as well. Clinched when he had to. Didn't take any unnecessary punches. Was fully focused for that 5th round. Which you need to be fully focused for every round. But good work in that 5th. That's the best round so far for Anthony Joshua. And this is where I think both men will start to gas. Ruiz will gas quite a bit. We're coming up to that 7th, and obviously there's rounds where Anthony Joshua, people are saying the mental game might play a factor. The rounds that obviously Joshua had the trouble in the last time round, we're coming up to them now. But correct from NXT Next Level Hydro, think he carries the weight well. He has always boxed heavy. He has. It's one of those you can never put function on the physique of Andy Ruiz. He's an absolute. What's the word I'm looking for? He's an absolute anomaly. Sixth round, similar sort of stuff in the first round. Range has been shouted from Robert McCracken. Then I think it was a right hand from Anthony Joshua, which rocked Ruiz. Then a right to the body. He's laughing now at Andy Ruiz, and you just got to be careful. He's fainting a little bit here. Don't get too happy. Don't admire the punches that you've been throwing at Anthony Joshua, lighting his feet, just clowning. I think he's trying to frustrate Anthony Joshua. And to be fair, I think he's better off just sleeping this guy all the way to the final bell, as opposed to lighting a fire in his ass and mocking him. However, this what he's doing. It's his style, and it's still effective for him. Pouring out that jab. Those jabs aren't hard. They just make sure that Andy Ruiz isn't in rage, who just pumps it out there. Then moving out to his left. Single jab, moves to his left, single jab. Again, not to get through, then moves left, then gets in with a single jab. Good there. I think it was that like a little screw? Was it like a jab hook sort of hybrid there? I don't know if it was quite a hook, but it was a good shot again. Rocking the head back of Andy Ruiz. These are eye-catching shots in rounds where not a lot happens, and he needs to keep it that way, Anthony Joshua. Really good work there. Single jab to the body, then pops one up to the head. Just stretches his arms out. Got to be careful not to get caught on his feet again. But this movement will tire him out. We'll see if it can do it for the full 12 rounds, but it's got to be tiring, all this movement, stepping out of range, got to be draining. Andy Ruiz putting on the pressure, and he'll be the less tired of the two, but mentally he might be tired because he's not getting a lot of work in himself. Right, I've got a thingy on my end, so I have to move over to this. Let's move that down. Hopefully everything on your end you can see me and there's no problems and anything like that. So yeah, we're all good. That's good. Let's put that up there. Let's bring that up here. Good. So here we are, round 7. Again, Anthony Joshua, you've heard me say this a number of times now. Boxing, not quite on the back foot. Well, I suppose it is on the back foot, but he's taking his time. Andy Ruiz is not putting on that pressure. He's not waking the beast either, which is good. He's not looking to trade. He's just keeping him on that end of that jab. Whenever he gets forward, he just moves out of range, steps it out to the left, then switches it to the right, feints with a pouring jab, but then gets in a proper one. That's what he's been doing. He's doing the same here. Ruiz shoots to the body. A check left hook there. I think it just got through from Andy Ruiz, but Joshua responds with his own. Tries to shoot a 1-2, but it's blocked in the gloves of Andy Ruiz, and pulls out a jab, which is blocked in the gloves as well. Now backing up with a clinch, and Andy Ruiz shoots to the back of the head. He's getting warned for that, and he should. That's rightly a warning there, because that was an obvious and clear attempt to shoot for the back of the head from Andy Ruiz. It's a good game plan so far, because the movement is high, but the output isn't. But the output is enough and safe enough and risk averse enough to win. Good right hand there. I think that just got through from Anthony Joshua. It's risk averse enough, but also at times when he's there planting his feet and getting a shot off, it catches the judges, and then it doesn't give the opportunity for Andy Ruiz to come back with something. There at that time, he just got caught there, and a high guard helped him block the punches from Andy. A 1-2, then tying him up in the clinch, but then eats some hooks to the body. Andy Ruiz slips out. Anthony Joshua slips out the clinch and hits a right hand, a good right hand, a left hook, and now they're looking to engage a bit. Anthony Joshua's now standing in front of Andy Ruiz here. Just got to be careful in the clinches. He's trying to tie him up, and he doesn't want to be tied up, and shoots a right hand over the top. Eventually, they're separated by the referee. Single jab from Anthony Joshua. Just got to be careful in those moments. Those moments, I think Robert McCracken might be telling him, don't forget about that. Forget about that sort of. Just play it safe. Play it clear. 7 rounds in, 5 left to go. Don't need to be doing that sort of stuff. Anthony Joshua just posturing into Andy Ruiz. It's just gotta be careful. Don't get too overconfident. Good right hand there. Stiff, hard right hand from Anthony Joshua, but eats a left hook. Not solidly, but a left hook gets through from Andy Ruiz. Sticking out his tongue now at Andy Joshua. Just forget about that. Don't light a fire into the arse of the Mexican. I would be advising against that if I was in the corner, but he's doing it his style, and he seems to think it's working for him, so he'll continue doing it. And I think it may be part of the mental game. He's trying to show Andy Ruiz, I'm here. I'm not affected by you. This don't matter to me. I'm on top of you. Trying to drain Andy Ruiz mentally, if that's part of it. But it's what he's doing. Ruiz getting rounds in, going the distance. It looks that way. You can Bengali. Pretty sure that's Nathan. Anything can happen in heavyweight boxing. We all know that. But it's good work for Anthony Joshua. Conversation going on between Robert McCracken and Anthony Joshua. Here's round 8. Round 8 he didn't get to in the first fight. Ruiz stepping on the pressure, then a clinch, and in the clinch Andy Ruiz is trying to get off some shots. Stepping on the left hook, shoots low to the body. Andy Ruiz does. The Mexican on the front foot. His opponent boxing to his left, moving over to his left, his right, trying to cut down. At the moment he's following him down, following around the ring. He's following him around, which is giving him Anthony Joshua the opportunity to slip out and get back towards the center of the ring. Anthony Joshua tries to shoot a right this time. Andy Ruiz clinches Anthony Joshua's head in a sort of DDT sort of lock. Good right hand to the body though from the Mexican. Pulling with each other's jab. Another right hand to the body from the Mexican heavyweight, the reigning champion. Having a little bit of trouble in tagging his opponent, but now he's in range, but now he's out of range again. Single jab to the chest from Andy Ruiz. He's in range now, tries to shoot an overhand right, and Anthony Joshua ducks down low. As the referee yells break, Anthony Joshua receives a right hook to the body. Anthony Joshua then throws a right hook in return to Andy Ruiz, and they're both getting a bit of a warning here. Bit of a chance for Anthony Joshua though to wind down the clock and get a little bit of a breather though. Big stern telling off here from the ref to both of these guys as they're now separated, and the ref calls for a return to the action. You can see that clinch he's trying to step into if he's ever in range. Good left hook there from Andy Ruiz. Overhand right here from Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. It looks okay, but you don't want too many of them. Single jab from Anthony Joshua. Go back to that boxing, that jabbing. Forget about being in range and trying to tag Andy Ruiz. Out of the way, just stepping out the way of a, well, using his body movement to get out of the way of a left hook. Stepping in the clinch, and on the clinch, Andy Ruiz steps out and tries to get a couple of shots in. A right hand and a left hook there from Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. Just looked like it caught him unsteady. Andy Ruiz there, Joshua, sorry, there, just off of the boxing a little bit, getting caught a couple of times. It's now past that halfway point where movement and things will be. Dylan York, good to see it. It's just saying on my end that it's a little bit choppy. Is it a bit choppy on your end? Just let me know. Hopefully you guys aren't having too much of a buffering experience here. Yeah, should be back now. Hopefully you guys got that. But Dylan York, good to see you in here. I think it's just been a little bit choppy, which is a shame. Hopefully we can get back to normality here with the stream. Just let me know if it is and I can try and sort that out. Here we go, back on that end. Let's see how about on this end. Decent work so far from Anthony Joshua, but he's just got to make sure he doesn't get caught. Forget about those exchanges. You want those titles. Forget about trying to be macho in that exchange. Just win, take the title back, box on that back foot, get that jab out, win those rounds. Make it ugly. Don't wake the beast. I am freezing in here. Just got technical difficulties on my end, as you can imagine we would have. Try and get something up quickly. Let me know if you're getting a bit of dodgy. Hopefully you're not. Hopefully this is all good and dandy. Well, I'm not sure at the moment. It's hard to tell. Got technical difficulties on my end. Hopefully we're back up now. Here we are. Round 9. Ruiz is cut. He's dripping blood there. Come on, man. Don't do that. Stepping out of range, though. Trying not to get into Andy Ruiz's line of sight for him to get off the combinations. As we get towards the end of this, it's gonna be bust or everything or bust for Andy Ruiz, isn't it? He's not gonna go out without a fight. We're back now towards the 10th round. Hopefully everything's good now. A little dodgy. I think it's settled now. Hopefully it's settled now. Just let me know. If anything more, I can switch it around. But I'm not getting those messages saying that it's buffering on my end. So hopefully that's settled it and I can bring you back to that action. I was just trying to sort it out. Stiff jabs here from Andy. Stiff jabs from Anthony Joshua. Good work. Not engaging. Just stepping out the way. Eye-catching shots. Single jab. Left hook. Right hand. Good uppercut as well. Andy Ruiz just in range from him and he can't respond back. Good right hand though over the top. Did this glove touch the canvas? Didn't quite see it. Let's do this. And let's do that. There we are. 10th round now. There we go. Should be okay there with the stream. Good overhand right there from Andy Ruiz, stepping forward with the left and the right coming over the top. Tenth round now. Anthony Joshua just looks just as good on his feet as he did in the first few rounds. Single jab, stepping out of the way of that left hook. Single jab, single jab. This is a well-executed game plan here. Barring a couple of mistakes every now and again, it's pretty much it's a great game plan and it's working very well. Anything can happen, but as of right now, it's a game plan that's worked very well so far. Single jab again, getting through. Single jab again, back in the head up of Andy Ruiz. He must be just so frustrated. He's been eating jabs the whole night. Stepping to his left, then his right, then his left. Andy Joshua's, they're stepping to the left, a little bit head movement. Pumping out that jab, up and down with that jab. In range there, but clinched, then got out of range. Good work, Anthony Joshua. And it's not a lot to really commentate about Andy Ruiz. I don't want to seem very heavily pro Joshua, which I'm not. I'm trying to call this as down the middle as I can, but there's just not a lot of work coming off of Andy Ruiz. And when it comes to the game plan, which we know it's about, which is about the jab and the right hand and boxing at range and things, it's good stuff from Anthony Joshua. So 20 seconds left of this 10th round, with 2 rounds left to go. Quick go to the toilet. back now. Andy Ruiz charging forward. He's got to step and pump on the gas now. He's got to close that distance down now. He has to gamble here because cheers, Dylan York. Yeah, just back now. Had to sort myself out. So here we are. Good work here from Anthony Joshua. Andy Ruiz has got to step on the gas. He's got to take it forward. He's got to take risks now because good right hand there. Didn't catch him flush though. As they touch gloves and continue. 2 minutes, the 11th round left. 5 minutes in total really for Andy Ruiz to keep hold of his titles, because as it looks, I think on the scorecards he's not going to get the result. So he's got to try and throw the gas tank, throw everything at Andy Joshua now. Pumping out the jab though. It's a new Joshua in a sense, you know, because he could take this style and obviously Anthony Joshua is a lot more entertaining than this most of the time. Obviously against Parker he wasn't, but a new sort of Joshua here who take this sort of style into different fights. Maybe a bit boring, but showing he can do this. There it is on the clinch there. Just could have got caught by a hook, but didn't. Moved out the way of it. Just popping a jab to his body. Andy Ruiz must be just so frustrated right now. As an opponent, it's a frustrating performance by the person in front of you. When you're plodding forward, he's light on his feet, moving from left to right. Doesn't look like he's going to gas anytime soon. Good single jab, rocking the head back time and time again from Anthony Joshua to Andy Ruiz. And he's just a frustrated man, cutting a frustrated figure. "20 seconds of this 11th round. Just pumping a simple jab to the body, Anthony Joshua. Punctuating that last round, and 3 final minutes. And for me on the eye, it looks like 3 final minutes for Andy Ruiz Jr. to be champion, unless he pulls something out the bag against Anthony Joshua. I think he has to. If it goes to the scorecards, regardless of what I've seen so far, he won't get the decision. And for me, I don't think he should get the decision, because he boxed really well as Anthony Joshua. Completely nullified Andy Ruiz's offense because he just hasn't engaged with him and used his reach and negated the shorter fighter. So Andy Ruiz has to knock out Anthony Joshua here to retain his titles. So quick look what you guys are saying if you are. Three final minutes here. 3 big minutes in the heavyweight division. It's more of the same. Don't throw it away now. More of the same from Anthony Joshua here. Double jab pumped out from Anthony Joshua. There we go. Going overhand right here. Another right here. 2 rights to the body in the clinch. Separated by the referee. 2.5 minutes left. 30 seconds gone. Anthony Joshua smiling at his opponent. Single jab to the body. Just breathing a little bit out of that mouth guard. I think a little bit is Anthony Joshua. Checking with the left hook. Misses wildly. Just standing in front of him a little bit too much now. Just go back to the boxing you were beforehand. Here we go. Back on the back foot. Good right hand there from Anthony Joshua. Shakes his head as Andy Ruiz. Tries with that right hand again, but it's just partially blocked there. Single jab. Moving towards the left. Circling to his left now. plodding forward. And Andy Ruiz is trying to back his man up, but that big ring is playing a big part. You just can't get his man backed up to that to ropes and cut him off and get off the combination. Again, a stiff single jab. "90 seconds left in the 12th round. Could we see a Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury style 12th round here? As we get into the last minute. This is a good boxing performance here from Anthony Joshua. He's just stuck it to the basics, the fundamentals. Engaged minimally. Made a couple of mistakes at times here. And a right gets through to Anthony Joshua. He just touches his gloves, but that's because Ruiz smothered him and the referee called for a break. 45 seconds left for Anthony Joshua to see this through. Light on his toes here. Just pumping out that jab again. Ruiz out of range. He can't land anything. 30 seconds left here in the 12th round. Anthony Joshua looks like he's on the road to regaining his titles, bar a catastrophe here. Good right hand from Joshua, out of range then as well. 10 seconds left. Ruiz ain't up to the bell, but he's wasting his time. Why did Ruiz do that? I'm not sure. I think Ruiz is pissed off. But it looks like here, I think Ruiz is trying to make a statement there that he ran the whole kind of 12 rounds, but he boxed. He boxed to a game plan. Doesn't matter if he ran or not. It looks like he's winning his titles. Anthony Joshua looks like he's regained his titles here. In what has to be said is a fantastic performance. Boxed to a game plan, minimal mistakes. Done what he had to do. Kept the shorter, faster fighter who with counter puncher at range for the whole fight. Didn't get caught, didn't get tagged. Very good work from Anthony here. That game plan was executed very well. I think Joshua there showed his boxing skills, his boxing prowess there. I'm not going to call it... I don't think I can probably say it's a masterclass. I think he boxed... He executed the game plan incredibly well with minimal mistakes there. Let's just have a look at the scorecards, see what they are. But it looks like Britain has a two-time world heavyweight champion in Anthony Joshua. It looks like those belts are coming back home. There were some really good right hands thrown throughout this fight from Anthony Joshua, has to be said. Here we go. The scorecards have just come straight through. 118, 110. 119, 109. There it is. Standing defiant, Anthony Joshua regains his titles against Andy Ruiz. Congratulations to Anthony Joshua. He answered a lot of critics here, and answered a lot of questions here as well about his focus, his game plan, his mental aptitude. And he's done it. He's executed, again, I've said this a number of times, he's executed his game plan proficiently, boxed to orders there, and he's done exactly what it needed to do to beat Andy Ruiz. Congratulations to Anthony Joshua. I'm glad that he's got the win. I'm glad that Britain has a 2-time world champion. I'm glad the belts are back with Anthony Joshua, because then we get to see the big fights hopefully in the future with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. He hugs Andy Ruiz there. He says, always, always never give up to his opponent. That's some good stuff there to Andy Ruiz. And it's good to see between the two. But the headline is Anthony Joshua beats Andy Ruiz on points. Let's see what you guys say. What's happening? Yeah, mate. Josh got this, not watched it, mate. Been out with the missus. No worries. Yeah, Josh has got this and the new, mate. 2-time. Looking buzzing. Reckon there'll be a trilogy. Nah, I don't. Because the same will just happen again. And maybe down the line, if Andy Ruiz becomes mandatory, you know, if there's that position, and you know he can't get out of it, I don't think there needs to be a trilogy after this point. And his dad's happy this time around. Is he handing out the belts to people? Is he just giving belts away? What is he doing? I don't know what I was about. Maybe he's just saying it's not about the belts. Look at him, standing defiant. A lot of stuff has been said about Anthony Joshua in terms of his boxing ability. I won't go too far to say all those questions have been answered, but Anthony Joshua here has reaffirmed that he has boxing ability and a high level of boxing ability, high level of boxing concentration, focus, and aptitude to execute a really good game plan that was made up by their camp to regain those belts in a performance that needed to be exactly what it was. Risk averse, cautious, but technical. A chess game, pumping out the jab, using every single advantage Anthony Joshua has to their advantage, and they've done that. And Britain has their new world champion. Tyson Fury will be watching. Deontay Wilder will be watching. It's funny, like I said to you guys, Ruiz in the first fight, Joshua was saying about Wilder and Fury. Now in this fight, Ruiz is saying about Wilder and Fury. And Anthony Joshua is the champion in Saudi Arabia. We'll see him back here. I'm sure we'll see him back here. Andy Ruiz must be disappointed, but the guy has made. You can't call him a Buster Douglas. You can't call him anything like that. You just have to call him Andy Ruiz, who give problems. Other fighters won't be able to do that. Like a Tyson Fury might be able to do that, but Dillian White's not really going to fight that way. A Wilder's not going to fight that way. Andy Ruiz can come back from this for sure, just like Anthony Joshua has come back from this, and maybe in the future be a 2-time champion himself. But good stuff from the both of them here. Good sportsmanship. See what you guys are saying. I'm off, mate. Take care, mate. Good to see you in here, Dylan York. Hopefully see you on a new one. Good more content coming up soon. Glad to have you guys here. Big fight. We've got the result we wanted, I think. Anthony Joshua has reclaimed his belts, and I'm glad to see that being the case. Eddie Hearn hugging Anthony Joshua there. He might be bowing down to him. Let's see what Anthony Joshua says. And what are these cards that thrown? Is Anthony Joshua champion? Is that what they are? It's got to be said that all credit to that, what they've executed here. We'll just stick around for the post-fight interview. Here we go. Let's see what he says. I'm not getting hit fair. Alright, Joshua just thanking everyone. Just gonna stick around for this. Andy Ruiz Jr. is his night. Manny Robles there. Talking about the weight. We'll stick around and we'll summarize and we'll head out. Calling for the third. Don't think it will happen, man. The third's not going to happen. Is Eddie crying? I can't tell if he's crying. Can't tell if you've seen a few people there. Andy Joshua's dad in the background just smiling. Just sticking around for final. We'll summarize soon. And there it is. Let's end this now. We have seen, just to summarize, and then I'm going to get out of here because I am cold. But thank you guys so much for joining me, sticking it out with me. You guys are the best, of course. Andy Joshua winning in a risk-averse, boxing-first performance against Anthony Joshua winning in a risk-averse, boxing cautious performance, sticking him on the end of the jab, right hand occasionally, not looking to trade, clinch him up, and getting that victory by all means. And he did. He's won those titles. He's now two-time. Those fights with Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury on the horizon. Those big mega fights are there. Britain has a two-time world champion in the form of Anthony Joshua in Saudi Arabia, beating the man, the boogeyman that beat him the first time around in that shock defeat in America. He's now claimed those championship belts. Those belts, we'll see what happens to them if they get fragmented, but the thing is, for right now, they're not. They're with one man, and that man is Anthony Joshua. It brings those belts back home to Britain. The new champion, two-time world champion, Anthony Joshua. This is Take Ames, your corner man. New content coming up soon. Interviews coming up soon. Subscribe to myself. Hit the like as well. Subscribe to Boxing News TV. That's where the clips came from. Appreciate you guys' support. Smash a like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.